Hey Nat, thanks for coming on this podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. You come straight from Colombia here. I mean, that's awesome. So, how was Colombia?
Well, there's 3 years that I actually don't being there. This couple of days was like 20 days that I spent with my family, and obviously looking towards the past that I had there, and like finding out those parts of me that I kind of changed. Well, I mean, when I start living in the United States, I believe you have to adapt. So I did, and now like going back home is kind of like, oh, I changed a lot. Like, wow. So
That's so incredible. So, and that's exactly. See, this is perfect. This is why I wanted to start this podcast so I can have conversations where it's just two filmmakers just talking, and hopefully people can learn something out of it, or at least get some entertainment out of it while they're driving or something, right? So this is
yeah.
incredible. So you spent 20 days there after having spent 3 years here, and we've obviously worked on multiple projects together. Um, how did you see? Because you mentioned you saw that you had changed, but you don't realize it, right? Because you're living here. What did you see? What do you think had changed? Uh,
Well, discipline and now like goal oriented because when I was in back in Colombia, I was doing my bachelor's degree in social communication and journalism. And back in that moment, I was ever never thinking about making films, and I just like trying my best to figure it out what's going on with my life. Younger, I was like, well, let's keep going with communications. Like
yeah.
yeah, like if you don't know what to do or what to study, just go for communications or journalism because it's really open. At the end,
Yeah.
it's kind of like something that is related to everything.
Yeah. No, I
So
had a very similar journey because I said I was growing like you grew up in Colombia, I grew up in India, and
mhm.
the closest thing I didn't want to leave my hometown, and the closest degree at the time there was not a film degree. That's what I wanted to do,
Mm.
and the closest thing that I had was a bachelor's in journalism
Oh, really?
and mass communication. So that's what I ended up doing because cameras are part of it, right?
Yeah.
But I had to do other crap with it that that comes along with it. But all I wanted to do was just the camera part of it because they teach you camera and all the
Mhm.
other editing and all that part of it. So that was kind of interesting to me that you were doing a similar degree.
Yeah.
And so what brought your interest in filmmaking? At what point did you start to think like, oh, I want to work in either movies or corporate video or whatever, like something to do with cameras?
Yeah. First of all, I believe that when you start communications, they also show you more broadcasting stuff,
Hmm.
not film actually.
Yeah.
So when I started it a couple of months ago and like semesters after, they start telling us what to pick on. So I
Hmm.
pick on a class for criticizing films or something like
Hmm.
that, and I say yeah, of course, and I start looking on that, and I have a pretty good teacher. His name I don't remember his name, but he was amazing, and he was teaching us different films, and he said, okay, let's do a little summarized critics by your own and send it over, and we kind of like start thinking about different things. So for example, a camera department, production design, the type of storytelling and
Hmm.
things like that. And I started thinking like, hey, I believe that I kind of like the shots and all of that good, like looking inside of the character with a bunch of symbolism in one film. And I remember I did it for Blue Jasmine,
Okay.
that movie. That movie is really good because it's showing up the entire crap that the character had
Yeah.
inside, and I was like, "Whoa, this is really good."
Hmm.
And after that, I was like, "Okay." The next class, they say, "Okay, let's do a little short film," and I did it with some friends. But the part that I don't like is that some of the girls were into more like journalism, and they just have that class because they don't have another option for a reason.
Hmm.
And they were like, no, I want to do some drama and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck it. I have to deal with these girls, and I want to do something like a darky shit. And
Oh,
they
so
don't.
what did you end up making? So did you make something
We
fun?
no, we did like a drama based on two girls that are. I mean, it was not that bad, but
Yeah, but I mean, you did get to play with cameras, though,
oh
right?
yeah, I was
Yeah.
the
So,
cam
so
up.
at least you
Yeah,
got to get some interaction with it. Is that what do you think then you sparked that where you were like, oh, maybe instead of journalism, I'm gonna go into more proper, filmmaking or whatever, or videography.
I believe that after that, I just come up with other friends and we made two films, like short films. And I come up with this idea with a friend, and I was like, let's do that. And I have it actually on my YouTube channel. I mean, first of all, it's my first thing, like one of my beginning or as a beginner short films, and it sucks a little bit, but it's
That's
kind
okay.
of
We all are critical of our
yeah.
first work. I don't even want to show it to anyone, but it was so long ago that we didn't even have like and I'm not that old, but the only stuff my college had was tape cameras, so it's not that good. But how long ago was this when you did this short
um
film in school?
ooh, like 2017.
Oh wow, so it's been quite a few years. What, eight,
Yeah.
9 years?
And after that we did a poem based
Hmm.
on life, and from there I decided to do filmmaking. And also because I watched certain movies that marked my life, and
Hmm.
I was like, I need to start doing this because films, from my perspective, is that when you see something and you feel something, it sometimes changed you and your perceptions, and you can act after that. So I was like, after a couple of movies, this, well, I don't remember exactly right now. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy, but yeah. But those films that make you feel sad at the same time, and like certain parts of you is like, oh
Hmm.
wow, this is me, but I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
And I believe if I'm not the only person, and I wanted to have certain thing to show to the people that
Hmm.
they can change or whatever,
Yeah.
or that you wanted to make this place better for people and blah blah blah. But I wanted to do that. It's
Yeah.
still
I mean, hey, that's a good motive to have. So at what point did you decide like, hey, it's time to come to, America, or what how did that happen? How did you end up here?
because of my dad.
Okay.
My dad always said like, you have to fly out.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, what it means. But he always support me. He's the supportive guy in the
Hmm.
family. And I kind of have that parenting side of him that is always like teaching me stuff. And I kind of have this like friendship with him that I
Hmm.
don't have with anyone else, not even with my mom sometimes. But I realized that later on, I had another type of relationship with my mom as a woman too,
Hmm.
because I'm a little bit like more masculine side
Hmm.
of me. I don't know how to explain that, but I believe that I join more. I enjoy more being with friends as guys friends
Hmm.
that girls, because girls kind of tricky for me. Like it's man, I can't deal with stuff that are really drama.
Oh
So
my
I
goodness.
prefer like chill
Yeah.
stuff with my friends. So my dad is kind of like that, and that's why I don't know how
I
you
mean,
feel
that's
about it.
been yeah, no, you've been like one of the most chill person to hang out with, so that makes sense now that you say it.
And
Um,
I didn't tell you that my
no,
my dad is a psychologist and sexologist.
oh really? Is that
Yeah,
what? That's funny.
yeah,
So did he encourage you? Then what you came to Full Sail, right? Is that how you what your thing in America was?
yeah. Because of a friend that he's had. The funny thing is, she was like driving around, and she was picking up her husband because he's a pilot. And they come up like around the front of Full Sail, and you realize that they have like a plane,
Yeah.
and they thought it's like a aviators
Yeah.
sort of university, and they get in and everything. They ask, were like, no, we're a
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
entertainment
They have
university.
nothing to do with planes.
Yeah. So yeah, they
I
come
mean
up with
CGI
this
planes, I guess. They can make video game planes. Anyway, but that's pretty cool.
VR,
Yeah, I know. But so they told your dad about it, and then
and I
he
start
told you?
searching.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So that's awesome. So you came here, obviously you've done a degree.
I was thinking that I have to do a bachelor's again,
Oh.
but the advisor says that, hey, if you have a one already, you just keep going for the master's. And I was like, what do you mean? There's a master's in filming? And he said yes. I was like, whoa, let's do that. And
Yeah, that's great. So now then you got a master's degree, right? So
hmm
that's pretty awesome. And
thanks.
is that where you met Mario?
Oh
So
yeah.
our other friend, I gotta have Mario on podcast too, hopefully in a few
Uh-huh.
weeks. Um, and obviously I met you, so that's an interesting story. Again, Daisy, I gotta have her on the podcast. So the way we met, and I would love to know your side of the story. So I meet Daisy at this event, and she's like, obviously I'm filming for this chamber, and I had Sean, who I've already had on the podcast,
hmm
and we were filming. And then she comes to me, she's like, "Hey, I like what you're doing," because obviously, I had an FX6 or whatever in my hand, and she's like, "I would love for you to, help me with my film or whatever." And I'm like, I don't typically do movies. I mean, I've done that in the past, but again, I'm all into the business side of it, making money, and there's not much money in indie movies,
True. Sad but
and
true.
yeah, sad, but that's just what it is. In
hmm
corporate, indie movies, you don't go there to make money, right? You go there to be creative, and I love that. I love the filmmaking part of it.
Passionate.
That's exactly, which is why I like commercials, because it's like a small movie, and I get to do what really I want to do
hmm
without having to not be able to pay my bills. Right,
hmm
that's what indie movie seems like. Anyway, which is why I'm doing my movie. I want to change what indie movies look like.
I want to part of. I'm ready to be part of your movie.
You are definitely going to be.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a surprise. Nobody knows about that. So let's not go to my movie yet. But anyway, so Daisy, and then so I have a meeting, and we talked about it, and then obviously indie movie, her budget wasn't gonna match. So I was like, look, this is what my rate is, and that's my bare minimum. Like I don't leave the house before then. But I definitely want to hear her. Like, I want to help her, and sounds like fun project, because what was unique about her indie movies, like she wanted to film these certain parts to finish what she had already shot, and they didn't need a match, because obviously our footage was going to look nicer than what she had before, because it was older footage. And she wanted to shoot it very differently, which is with 3 cameras at once or whatever, right, to get it done actually in one night. And I was told her, well, that's right up my alley and I can do it, but obviously we don't have the budget to bring all my crew. So I was able to bring my gaffer, a couple of my cameramen, and then Mario, who worked with her. That's how I met Mario. And it was like, okay, we can fill the rest of the roles. And I was like, that's great. That we can make this work actually, which
hmm
is exciting. So I essentially met you on the set of that movie, because you were my other, because part of my team, because I had, so it was me as a DP, and then I had 3, because I wanted to not operate, because so many cameras, I want to be able to make sure they all match. So I had 3 operators, and me was, and plus an AC. That was my camera department. So you were the last person, and then the only one that I didn't know at that time, and that's how we
Uh-huh.
met. Anyway, tell your side of that story. I don't know. What do you have experience of that movie? What do you want to say? Because and again, if you want to be critical, be critical. This isn't. We don't need to. I don't know. We don't need to polish anything. But what was your experience? Meeting me, my crew, or just working on that movie in general?
Well, I first got there and I saw everything, the gear and the people wearing, like they were really professional. I was like, wow, these people. I wanted to work with these people. Like I'm down for it. I'm already saying. I mean, they basically tell me, hey, you have to be camera C or
Yeah,
B.
yeah, yeah. You were third camera. I
Yeah,
think
third
that's, yeah.
camera. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I met everyone. And then I met you. And you were like, hey, I'm the DP. And I was like, whoa. And then we talked a little bit. And you were really nice. I never expect that because normally DPs are really like, hey, don't touch me.
Yeah, that is a case in indie movies. I've noticed that there's a hierarchy. I was talking to literally a guy who loves making indie movies, not on podcasts, and because this is what I love to do. So I'm like, might as well record it. But he was telling me same thing. All he wants to do is make indie movies, but the hierarchy is he wants to be a gaffer. But the way he's learning indie movies, it's like you're not a director, maybe a producer and DP. There's no respect.
Yeah.
Despite everyone maybe work you for free, still and I don't like that.
Yeah.
My set, I don't care if I'm the DP, I'm the director, or I'm just a PA. There's going to be respect all down the road, because we're just out here to make content. Anyway, so that was great. So I'm glad you say that, because I do try to do that. I'm like,
Yeah, you were really humble
yeah,
actually. I noticed it, and for being the director of these whole people working with you and me on a side, I've kind of have the motivation to do good shots. There was a thing that we have to miss in terms of like the clap, this
yeah.
this late. the person from the slate doesn't count on me, but I kind of have certain shots that they supposed to be on the
Yeah.
same slate that I didn't. I start recording by my own, and I have pretty good B-roll on a
Yeah.
side.
No, you did great. No, your
Yeah.
footage was used in the movie. It was
Yeah.
amazing. I have nothing. Hey, we worked way many more times after that, so that means it was great work. So I don't want you to ever, but yeah, go ahead. Anyway.
Yeah, after that you were like, "Hey, I love those shots. I don't know what you did." I'm like, "Yeah, but you kind of like convinced me to work it out
Yeah.
with with your gear. Actually, it
Yeah.
wasn't my gear,
Yeah.
but I enjoy a lot what my gear was,
Yeah.
and it was really
And,
exciting."
hats off to you. It's very easy because, to be real, everyone there had technically worked with me before,
Hmm.
at least in my department, and everyone knew what
Like me. Uh-huh.
yeah, knew what the gear was, how to operate it, whatever. And you were coming in blind, so I'm
Hmm.
actually really, that's why I was impressed, because you came in blind. If I remember, you weren't even feeling that well,
Hmm.
and to be able
Oh
to, yeah, so to be
yeah.
able to pick up a camera, to be able to fight through whatever, cold or whatever you were having. Point
I
is,
had a really bad cold. I
yes,
remember that.
yeah. So to fight through that and to get great shots, which is what matters, right? At the end, we are
Hmm.
all trying to create beautiful images. And all my expectations from you were, because again, I don't know your style or anything, was that, hey, we can match the cameras, we can get the angle that we want, because your camera is important, is getting
Hmm.
the other angle, and that's it. And you obviously far exceeded the expectation, like you said.
Thank you.
You were doing great, and which is why I was like, oh, we gotta connect and meet more, which is why I ended up working with you and
Yeah, I
both
asked you like,
Mario.
"Hey, can you give me your hammer, please?"
Yeah, and
And manual too.
Manuel, yeah, Manuel
Yeah,
was one of the
manual
camera.
was really funny. I was like, "Stop it!" He was literally. I tried to not laugh when we were recording. I was like, "Shut up, man! Shut up!"
See,
From
but we
yeah.
like to have fun, and funny enough, even though that was a very high pressure shoot, isn't, because we had a very limited time, right? We were
Hmm.
filming in the night, and once the daylight comes, we're done. Like, there's no,
Nothing to
no,
work it
yeah,
out
there's no,
later.
no way to put the sun back down. Anyway, I think everyone did incredible, and it's good to hear that you felt welcome, because, to be real, you were an outsider at the time, so it
Hmm.
makes me feel good that I didn't make you feel certain, like outside, that you're not part of the team, because that was my goal, that you are part of
Hmm.
the team. And like I said, at no point did I feel like you didn't fit.
You
Rather, I
did
think
great.
you were, rather, I thought you exceeded, like I said, what was expected of your role.
Hmm.
So that's awesome. So that's kind of how we met. We did that movie, and now you've helped me on, obviously, the type of work I typically do is corporate and commercial work. How has that been? And I don't know if you remember any of the projects that we've done
Oh
together.
yeah.
So I don't know, how was that, because that's completely different than the movie, right?
Hmm.
Because in the movie,
Corporate is really
it's
different.
scripted, but this is more unscripted, more events, more
Life.
live, right? So how was that, a, the contrast, and b, how's it working those with me? I don't know, or just in general, and with the crew and other people.
Well, first of all, I really have to like say that anytime you plan on something, you think about everything. I remember when I get there the first time for, I remember it was like a hospitals thing. I don't remember what it was.
Whichever one,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, it was like a live event, and I get there. I told you, and then you say, "Okay, I have the cameras already." Da da da, and you have every set, like the settings and everything was perfect. I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, okay, this is perfect. And I just moved the camera towards whatever I needed it,
Hmm.
and then I just put the tripod. I fixed certain shots, and you were like, "Okay, we're filming in 3, 2, 1, boom!" And you start killing it with the switcher, and you just pump it out. You asked me like, "Hey, are you ready for?" Because I wanted to switch between. I'm
Hmm.
like, "Oh yeah, yeah, sure." And like that was amazing. And we have a big screen on the
Yeah,
background
yeah.
that I can see what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
that's
So
not typical. That was very, so I do a ton of live
uh
events.
huh.
That was the different thing. So it was from me, technically, that screen.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I partner with a third party company. I don't
Mm-hmm.
store like a 30-foot LED
Yeah,
screen.
not yet.
But that's yeah, not yet, maybe. But that's the part of the production company, when the client
Yes.
says, "Hey, this is what we need. We need live stream." I was like, "Well, yeah, I got you. I've done a million of these." They're like, "Oh, we also want to put a 30-foot. Oh no." big screen out there. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
normally it's fine because we can get a projector or whatever. I've done that before. But they're like, oh, this is gonna be outside in the sun in Florida.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, you can't see a projector or
You
a
told
TV
me that I
screen.
put a hat on.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well then we can do LED screens, and they're not cheap. They were like, I think it was like 5, 10 grand, whatever, to get that screen there for a couple of hours, and I was like, I'm happy to obviously call around and get vendors and obviously make that happen. So that was really cool because that was the different part of the shoot. But yeah, so I'm glad you felt that because I am. Yeah, that is my personality. I'm like so hyper obsessed with getting everything right, planning everything, and even though I've done like a live stream like that so
Mhm.
many times, I'm not playing around. Like as I don't
No,
want to
no,
have a
no.
risk,
You're really
especially
serious.
during live or a live things go wrong. Anything can
Mhm.
go wrong. It will go wrong. So you'd rather be prepared.
Yeah, but
Um,
actually, with you, anytime when I work with you, I never have or I never encountered that I mess around with the footage or something. I kind of have the thumbs up on your side that permit me to do
mhm.
my job, and those kind of things I
Yeah.
really appreciated from you because as my boss sort of and
Ah,
friend.
yeah. More friendly.
Yeah,
I don't
more
like to be
friend.
boss. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
time you were my
Yeah.
boss because we don't met
Yeah.
like more, right?
Yeah.
But now as a friend, I kind of feel that I am in a safe space where I can be really professional and you can respect
Yeah.
my skills, you
Exactly.
know.
Exactly. And no, and that's how it is. Look, I'm very professional, like you said, on the set. I don't care. You could be my, my wife or my, friend or whatever. Like we're working. But at the same
Yes.
time I like to have fun. And that's why I like to
Mhm.
bring people I know because at the end of the day, it's about having fun.
Mhm.
And you cannot have fun with people you don't know or they don't gel with. And I mean, to the point, we're so good friends now. You came to my home for Thanksgiving. I
Yeah,
mean, talk about that. I mean,
I never
so
try anything like that because I'm not from here. So I try everything that normally Americans do and eat, and it was really good.
so how
Thank
was
you.
it? How was an American Thanksgiving for you? I want to know. What was your favorite food?
Okay, I love the
Oh,
turkey
the
that you
turkey.
guys
Oh,
gave
yeah.
me. Whoa, I don't
Funny enough,
remember.
it was slightly dry this year. I was
Yeah, a little
because
bit.
it went in the oven a little longer. It's fine. I didn't do it, so not on me. But anyway,
The
so
pumpkin pie, I never tried
you
it
never
because
have
I
pumpkin pie.
felt that it was kind of weird and looks weird. But you let me try it. You're like, keep going until I go ahead. I'm like, I tried. It was good.
No, it's great. See, I couldn't
And the
imagine that. So
cream
coming
on.
again, see, Indian being Indian, pumpkin's not a dessert. Like you're right, you grow up, it's like a vegetable, so you eat.
Exactly.
And I never liked eating pumpkin. When my mom was like, "Eat pumpkin," I'm like, I don't want this. Anyway, the point is, I never grew up ever wanting anything to do with pumpkin. But in
Mhm.
America, I'm just like when in Rome, right, type of guy. So when I came to America, obviously you gotta try everything. And when I tried it for the first time, I was like, this thing is freaking
It's
delicious. It's
good.
nothing like the pumpkin I've had. Obviously they put a ton of sugar in it. They
Oh,
can make anything good here. But anyway, so
true.
I'm glad you like the traditional American Thanksgiving.
And and
Was that your
and
first one or you've had it before? Like a proper
um
meal, like Thanksgiving type of meal?
well, I had a Thanksgiving, but it was Indian one. The last year, I
Which
never
is so
told you
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
It was with actually someone from the Chamber of Commerce, Indian Chamber
Oh,
of
I think
Commerce.
Mario told me mother. Am I right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
okay, I know about it obviously, but I have recorded her before.
Oh, really?
So it's funny. You have Thanksgiving, but an Indian. I don't even know what an Indian Thanksgiving is. You guys had like Indian food?
Yeah, we did. I
Wow,
ate a bunch of rice. We're from the south, and then they mix it up with something else, and they put turkey on it.
that is
Uh,
so interesting. I have never had turkey in India, and I'm from India.
yeah,
But India is a huge country,
I
So
believe they
yeah.
already are Americans a little bit.
Yeah, so they
Yeah,
probably made it. Yeah, see,
mix it. Yeah.
yeah. So, see, I've only had the traditional American Thanksgiving. Obviously, uh, uh, every year. But so that's incredible. That's what I'm saying. It was so incredible to have you and Mario over, and
Thank you for inviting
of
us.
course, duh.
Yeah,
You
duh.
guys are great friends. You're welcome. And
Yeah.
then plus my kids love you, so it's like
Oh,
I don't
I
have a
love your
choice.
kids.
Yeah, as soon as
They're
they found
amazing.
out you were coming, they were so excited because they
Yeah.
just want to
Oh,
meet
they
you.
give me
Yeah.
something. I was reading it. And she was like, "You make my day," and I was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful, Bella." I love
my
her.
my daughters just they love you.
They're beautiful.
Yes, plus
They're
they also know
amazing.
how to make your heart melt. They anyway, but see that they love you. So that was incredible. Plus, you helped me move. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, at this
Yeah.
point, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you guys. So,
Thank you so much. I
uh,
I I kind of you know what? It's also that I can feel that support from you,
mhm,
and you have the same with us. Actually, from me and Mario,
mhm.
he's not here, but he will be. We really appreciate our I will say it in Spanish. I don't know why amistad, but it's like friendship
Okay.
in Spanish. Yeah, we had a really good friendship with you. And not only that, I really want to do like the dreams that I think that we can finish and get it done
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
become true.
Yeah, that's been my thing. I'm telling you, and again, I was like, we talked about it. It's like, oh, my dream would be one day to have a studio and have you guys come work with me if you want to,
And you
obviously.
made it.
But I don't know. This is just a space eventually, because again, we
Humble.
travel for
Huh.
work, so this is more like personal space. I would say I just wanted to have these conversations, and this was a great space to do that. But one day, I'm just saying that would be incredible to have a like real, studio. I just can't justify the ROI of it as a traveling filmmaker. I'm literally about to go on a plane in a few days again.
I know.
So I think I'm going to San Diego or whatever.
That's great.
So point is, like, I can't. I'm not like home that much. So a studio doesn't make sense when you're flying and traveling
Yeah,
a lot.
that's true.
So
But
this was the best I could do. I mean,
I
you saw it.
know.
What
I
do you think
mean,
about the space?
I mean, first of all, I met the space without being this space.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
can
you're one of the very
tell.
few people who has that perspective.
Yeah, I can tell that this is a huge change. So
Yeah, they're
I,
literal blood, sweat, and tears. Like my handprints are on that wall behind you. That was Julie's idea. She wanted to hide, put our handprints forever there.
Mhm.
But no, like, anyway, like I said, I just wanted to have space.
That's
I didn't
beautiful.
realize it was going to be so much work. But now
Yeah.
that it's finally done, and like I said, I can have these conversations. Plus, a place to just hang out. Like now, you guys can come
Mhm.
whenever, and we can,
Oh yeah, I
you
wanted
know,
to ask you that because these days I was a little bit doing some other projects by my side by my own because Mario is not at home.
mhm.
So I was like figuring out when we met again because yeah, I miss you guys and
No, no, you can.
yeah.
Dude, we don't even live 5 minutes
Yeah,
away
we
from each.
really we live so far from
Yeah,
each other.
exactly. I'm like, you're not like I've had people come on this podcast driving an hour away. I'm like, you're what 5 minutes away. You guys can come whenever. I mean, hey, plus we're like friends now. So at this point, just come say hi. I mean, plus like I said, we gotta do more projects this year.
You know the funny thing
But
is that I come over here at 9, exactly the time, and I forget what I brought for you in my home. So you say, "Yeah, go get it," and I'm
yeah,
like, "Yeah, sure," because it's
no,
5 minutes.
exactly. That's what I was like, because everyone's like, she gotta go back. I'm like, no, she's right there. Funny enough, we've thrown trash at your apartment complex before, but let's not make that recorded.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, no, you're literally down the street from me, and which is
You can
again,
do that
and we
again.
didn't
It's
even know
okay.
that. It's so funny. When was it? I think we were at some chamber event,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I was dropping you guys off at home, and then I'm like, this is exactly where I'm gonna buy my house. So this was before I'd even closed on it, and once I showed you, as you were like, yeah, we literally live right down there,
Yeah, and you were like,
and
"No way," and
I
I'm
was like,
like,
oh, we're gonna be
"What?"
neighbors.
Yeah,
So that's incredible. Like I said, you were nice enough to help me move because we had too much stuff. I didn't
Don't-
realize
you know what?
the
It
amount
was
of
a
equipment I
pleasure.
have. Because I knew I had too much equipment,
It's
obviously.
yeah.
But until you start moving, you realize, oh, and that's after most of it being in storage unit. It's still a
Mhm.
lot of it is
Oh
still in storage
no,
unit.
still.
So what I'm saying is, despite that, it took so what days to move. I
Yeah,
mean, I mean, we were at least that day that you helped me. We were like
one
what one
one
a.m. or
day.
something.
Yeah, we finished really
Late,
late.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
We
yeah.
worked pretty much all day, and that's what 4 or 5 of us doing it. So yeah,
Hmm.
and it was what
And it
Mario,
was the
you,
half of
Jerk.
the stuff that you have. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's like what? And then you tell me like I have more stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And that's after me getting rid of so much. I even threw away my coffee. I was like, I'll just buy a new one, and then it was like never ending. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, when you move, you realize that you have a crappy shed around that you don't need, and it's like, why I come up with this? Because it
Yeah,
happens to me twice. Because I moved twice, and I have to do it alone. The
yeah.
first time and the second one, I had Mario with
Mhm.
me, so it was fine. when we moved together, it was really good because yeah, having someone to help you
Yeah.
is good, really good, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
which so you met Mario at Full Sail, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
if anyone listening, Mario and who's hopefully
Oh.
going to be on this podcast later, some point, but you're together, obviously. Did
Mhm.
you meet Mario at Full Sail?
Yeah, I actually when I met him, I had a long time, distance relationship.
Oh,
Yeah.
then Mario was the bad boy that made you break
No,
up
he
with him.
never been bad. Like it's just me feeling that I have to continue with my life in here, and I kind of feel that I have tied
Hmm.
my hands tied on Colombia, and I have to.
So he was in all the way in Colombia, the boyfriend. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
that wow.
You never.
You were
I never
holding on.
told you
I was like,
that.
yeah,
Oh
I
my
didn't know
god.
that. I'm like, oh, so you're holding on to a
Ooh.
relationship, which is fine. I mean, again, I don't know that much about that relationship. So you were in that, and then somehow Mario came along. One of the nicest guys I know. He's helping me
Yeah,
write my movie,
he's
by the way.
yeah,
So
he's really
somehow
talented.
Mario was talented enough to make you go rethink your long term relationship.
Well,
Interesting.
here's the thing. I at the beginning I met him in the second sem. Well, in the second month of our master's program, I
He
was
was doing the
doing.
same program. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
but it was funny because in the second, the teacher that tell us to do something regarding to other students in the whole entire program, they were like, oh, almost to graduate. We have like a little time for us to present as actors.
Hmm.
So I have to be in the audition time for that. And I was there, right? And I
Hmm.
showed up and I had a really crappy English at that moment. I was like really Spanglish sort of. And yeah, I asked them like, hey, one of his classmates like, hey, what is this? And he's like, oh, this movie is about this, and you can join this role and blah blah blah. I was like, oh, okay, next. And then I continue. And then I tried to talk again with the other guy, but I just, bleh. And then Mario get close to me and he said, hey, you speak Spanish? And I'm like, yeah. Okay. And where are you from? And, oh, Peru or Colombia. Oh, okay, cool, man. And yeah, just let me know. Da, da, da. And I was like, yeah, sure. And yeah, it was really funny,
Yeah.
really chill. And he was like, yeah, and what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from Colombia. Da, da, da. And he said, oh, I'm in the same masters. And I'm like, fuck yeah, can you give me your phone so I can, like copy you or
Oh, so
something?
you asked his number?
Yeah, I always do
Oh,
that because
okay.
I have this
Yeah,
masculine part of
yeah,
me
yeah,
that is not like a really girly,
yeah,
so I
huh?
can like join my
Yeah.
my I don't know, my side with guys. It's
Okay.
just my other guy side with guys. I don't know
Okay.
how to explain that, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it was really fun, and we started hanging out, and I was with my boyfriend from Colombia still, and then I start realizing that this guy is not going back to like my other ex boyfriend is like attached to Colombia, and he's going to be there, and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, I think I have to move on, and I have to
Hmm.
end it up, and then I
Yeah.
let it be, and I have
I feel
to.
from the other guy's side, but it's always like when girls are like, "Oh, this is just a friend in college, you're good," and then
No, but
it's
I never
that's not.
do.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
mean,
kidding.
when I was
That's
kind of
probably what
like,
he thought.
yeah. I mean, I when I met him, when I met Mario, I feel that it's just a friend. I believe that I always have always my friends.
Hmm.
Back in Colombia, I was living with my brother. I never told you this, but I live with my brother in my parents' house, and my house it was like really big. So we have other students from different countries that they join
Oh.
my university. So they do study abroad for
Hmm.
6 months or for 1 year. So they stay in my house with
So you had
my.
a lot of exchange students in your
Yeah,
home. That's pretty
exactly.
cool. Yeah.
So I learned a little bit of French, German, and a little bit of Japanese because I live with people from those countries. And then we have really big parties. If I show you my Facebook, you will see that there are a bunch of
Oh, you
French
got to show it
people.
to me. That's crazy.
Yeah,
So you were having, parties and meeting international people already. Okay,
yeah.
so
In my house was the main place where they go. Like,
your parents were okay with
yeah,
that?
because my parents they never lived with us in that moment.
Oh,
In college, they moved to Bogota, the main city in Colombia, and we
oh,
just lived
your
together
house
with
is
my
a
brother.
party house. Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was cool and crazy, but I love it. Like it's just like part of that side of each of
Yeah.
us when we were young. So
Exactly. So that's awesome. So that's cool to know. So obviously, You met Mario there, and rest is
We
history, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Because that's how I've known you guys since we've been together. I don't know anything before then. And like I said, both of you have worked independently and together. You guys are
Mhm.
great. As a producer, it can be a challenge, right?
Yeah.
To hire a couple or whatever, because it's like, and as I worked with my significant other on sets too, it can be a
Mhm.
challenge sometimes because if you had a fight at home or something, you don't want to bring that to set. It's that you
Oh,
want to have
yeah,
fun,
no.
and that's what I'm saying. With you guys, it's I've never noticed anything like whether I work with you and Marty separately or together. You guys are always fun to hang out with and professional, and so that's great. That's just been great on to do that. Anyway, so I want to go back to
I have to ask
yeah.
you, like, I know in relationships, in terms of job styles and things like that, I when I told you that I changed from Colombia, my side, right? I realized that I also I feel a little bit more mature in a relationship than before. And actually, for that professional side, it's also something that I needed it for me to grow up and
Hmm.
to expect like a good not only relationship as a partner, but also as my other crew member or something like
Hmm.
that. And it's difficult, but at the same time it's kind of like a personal side that you can like fill it up by your
Hmm.
own. And when you say, oh, sometimes they can have problems and everything, but we don't show it up because we are professionals. We
Yeah.
have to find a side in between and
Yeah.
recognize that every aspect of our lives is kind of like
Hmm.
not the same and not brought in everything into
Exactly.
mixed it up or something.
No, you said it right, and that's why I don't judge because that's somebody who has had a job with somebody you're together with. People are like, oh, that's not allowed or whatever, and I've never been like that because my thing is as long as and I like I said I've done that myself. As long as you guys can show up to set and be professional and have fun, it doesn't matter what happened at home because at the end of the day you understand you're here for work. But at the same time, again, you don't want it to be awkward at work. You want
Hmm.
it to be able to work. And like I said, I haven't seen anything and that's why I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. Rather, I love having you both on set because it's just fun and it's
Yeah.
energetic, and that's exactly what I like. I like my set to be fun, but at the same time professional. Right? We can work, we can create awesome content, but and we can have a good time doing
And
it. Why be
professional.
miserable? Yeah, because no need to be no need to be miserable just because
No.
we want to be professional. Because there's also those professionals who are like,
Ooh, yeah.
like I'm too professional. I can't even make a joke or
Yeah.
whatever. You don't
It's
want to
too
be.
much.
Yeah, that's hard to handle too. So,
I believe it's because they don't let themselves to be themselves
mhm,
sometimes, and they have this like certain feeling that they are not gonna be enough or something
yeah,
like that because of people whatever. But
mhm,
at the end, you have to be yourself, and if people like it, it's fine. If not, you have to check
mhm,
on stuff. If not, or maybe it's not you, it's people or
yeah,
something. But
exactly.
yeah, it depends. But I have to say that when I first met Bintra Productions, I come up with like, hey, I really want to be part of this. I want to be a someone that can join these like people around. And when I first met you, it feels like I wanted to be do big things.
Hmm.
Not only like yeah, indie films or something like that. No, like stuff that we both can dream about, like
Yeah,
this, like
we're
talk
still
about
gonna
what.
do it. There you go.
Yeah,
Look,
and
this is just the start, right? It's
yeah,
just the start.
and it's something that I see when you move here and you say I wanted this, and literally when you said that, you make it. And I wanted to be around people like this
Hmm.
because it's really hard when people just follow orders and just feel that oh, it
Hmm.
has to be like this or
Yeah.
something like that. I believe that sometimes you have to do what you wanted
Hmm.
and remember your values in
Yeah.
order to get what you wanted to achieve.
Ex-
And it's specifically not only because of the society say it or because of your parents say
yeah.
it or whatever other person say it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You kind of touch subject that's very important to me because you have to make it happen. It doesn't happen for you. I'm tired of listening to people. Well, I said tired. I just don't listen to them. But people who are like, "Oh, it's not working for me," or they just keep making plans and not doing
Yeah.
it. The truth is, now it doesn't happen every day. For 2 years, I was like, I want a
No.
space, I want a space, right? But it wasn't gonna happen. And finally, when
And fail.
we were, yeah,
Failure
when,
is something that is regarding to this
yeah,
successful environment, because
exactly.
people is not allowed to succeed in terms of failure.
Hmm.
Failure is the key for succeed,
Yeah.
and
And
sometimes it's kind
yeah,
of
and
like you
remember, it's
did.
not it's only failure if you stop trying. And then the good thing is, for example, here, like you saw, I'm the type of person that if I'm saying I'm gonna make it happen. So when I finally got this space, which was part of the reason of getting this, and I was like, oh, this is what I'm gonna pay, and this, and then obviously, like you say, it's happened. Now that we're here, somewhere to store my gear, and make these, little podcasts or whatever. But the other crazy thing is, uh, it wasn't that easy, because 2 months, like I said, it took or whatever to make this happen. Like I said, it wasn't easy,
I
and a
wanted
lot
to
of
ask
people,
you that.
yeah. So a lot of people don't see the challenge in it,
Hmm.
because it's like, oh, nothing can be easy. It's like, oh, you dream up first, right? Like you say, okay, so I'm gonna make, I don't know, shelves here, and this is where the equipment's gonna go, and then you realize, oh, it doesn't fit, or something, isn't right, or whatever. The point is, you have to then figure it out. Like here, we
Doing
wanted to
it.
put this wall, and then
Hmm.
it's like, oh, there's an outlet. And then you call a company, and they're like, oh, it's going to be $2,000 to just move a tiny little outlet. So you have to
Ouch.
kind of go, that's just doesn't make sense. But at the same time, what do you do? Then you have to solve a problem. Either the way is, you come up with the money, or you
YouTube.
or you go YouTube, and you're like, how can there be an electrician and move this and do it in 5 minutes? Anyway, point I'm trying to make is, it wasn't easy.
Hmm.
Every little thing was a challenge. And plus, this isn't like a public space, so I'm not trying to create like, space for public that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have ROI, I'm gonna have people
Mm-mm.
renting this or whatever. This is my
Your
space to
space.
hang out with
Uh-huh.
my friends
I have
and
a
video
question.
professionals. Yeah.
I have a question for you. How you become the person that you are now?
Oh, that's a loaded
That's
one.
deep.
I
That's
think
fucking deep.
I don't know. I don't know what am I right now. I just know this. All I knew growing up was I was different, right? I
Hmm.
grew up in an environment where, I wouldn't call myself a nerd, but I was a geek. As in, like, I loved technology. I loved internet and the latest and the greatest and everything, and YouTube before YouTube was huge. Like, I was the guy on YouTube, and anyway,
Checking
point
on
is, like,
YouTube.
or anything new, or on Facebook when it launched. So I was always at the forefront of things, and I realized people around me didn't care,
Mm.
right? So they were like interested in other things, which is fine, right? Like, I was into Formula One before other people were into Formula One. So anyway, I had these interests, right? I was a kid, loved video games, which is common, but then
Mm.
I love Formula One, I love cameras, I love technology, and a lot of people around me didn't. And so
Mhm.
at that time, and I had lots of friends, and none of them had similar interests. So it's like, well, maybe some had video game interest, but that's just a side thing. That's not like a major
Mhm.
thing. Point I'm trying to make is, I felt that I was different, right? That there was not that many, and I just wanted to find fellow creatives, or because, like I said, what I wanted to do collaboration with, and the best thing I could do was at that time is just find other friends and find other people that wanted to create content, and just like everyone has a similar story. I just found my friends, and we were making short films, or stupid things, or just it's just filming
Yeah.
things, and that was just such a relief, because now you can hang out with people who care about, even if, let's say, they don't care about cameras, they care about making a story, or telling a story,
Mhm.
or doing something creative
The
together,
certain
or
shots that we can cover without budget. That's the
exactly,
perfect
right? Yeah,
ones.
or just in general, just talking about movies that because again, as a movie buff, because I love movies.
What
So
is your
like,
favorite movie?
oh, that's low. I don't know. I don't know.
I
I
don't know
can't say
either.
that
Because here's
because
the
there's so
thing:
many.
every movie have their own stuff.
Yeah,
Every movie have their own something that is
yeah,
just from the moment, from the past,
yeah,
from that time when they release it. There are
yeah.
a bunch
If
of
I had to
things.
say at least one that definitely was very influential was Jurassic Park, because it came out when I was a
Hmm.
kid, and then as a kid, uh, physically seeing dinosaurs and I don't know.
That's amazing, and the
I-
sound of the
yeah,
sound is really
the
good,
soundtrack, right? And I can still watch it
man.
now, so many years later. I don't know if that's, I would just call it this one movie, but the things I grew up watching was like, you know, Harry
Me
Potter,
too.
Jurassic Park. I mean, that's way way back. Point I'm trying to make is that's the type of movies that kind of influenced me in the beginning. Obviously, Titanic is a huge one that came
Hmm.
out. I was really really young. Um, Anyway, so I think that is essentially it. And then the biggest thing was getting a job. So
Hmm.
I started. Obviously, I came to America,
Reality.
exchange. So yeah, and then getting a job. And to be real, I worked with Disney, which is an incredible, I would say, at least
Mm.
company to work with,
Hmm.
comparatively having now seen corporate America.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
amount of politics and BS and other things that you have to go through. And all I wanted to do was somehow figure out a way to make money from things I enjoy, right? Because
Hmm.
the way I learned about the American lifestyle initially was, hey, you work 5 days your butt off doing things you don't like, so you can then have a weekend off and have fun doing things you like. And I never could connect with that concept. I
Yeah,
was
me
like, why would I
neither.
spend most of my life doing something miserable and then try to adapt? Because I, like I said, I'm a when
Yeah.
in Rome type of guy.
No, and not only
So
that, you're from other country. You had a new perspective in
yeah,
a country that is not yours, as
yeah,
me. Like we both have this connection also because
yeah,
we're not from here, and sometimes it's dealing with this society around is driving us nuts.
yeah.
Actually, I had depression before here.
Really?
Yeah, of course, because I kind of step out of my origins from
Hmm.
Colombia to adapt here, but at the end, I realized that no way I can adapt, but I have to be myself
Yeah.
still. I have to connect with my origins as well.
Yeah. No, and mental health you talk about is
Yeah.
very important, and that's exactly what made me switch. So what I was going through was, I would call mental health, as in, like, basically I was going through, finally, I got a little older and I had money,
Hmm.
right? But I had a decent job, and then I was like, well, I'm making good living, but what does it mean? Like, I love video, but I'm miserable. I can't do video because
Hmm.
when I come home now I'm
These
tired,
questions that,
right? And
yeah.
then the projects I'm working on are indie projects. The point is, and then I try to fulfill it with stupid things. I bought, like, oh, I can buy a Rolex. Let me buy fancy,
Everyone.
shoes, the Yeezys, and then a Supreme shirt. You know what I mean? Like, you start to buy Mercedes. You buy physical things, thinking, oh, I can be
You
happier.
lit it up.
And
Uh-huh.
as soon as I bought all that things, I was like, I'm still empty, right?
Hmm.
And then the best thing for me was to just leave everything behind, like start fresh with starting this production company. And it changed my life overnight, to be real. Because there was a lot of forces around me to were like, oh, you can't see, this isn't going to work. Because, I wanted to
Mm.
charge a premium. Obviously, I didn't want to make indie movie rates, right? Because then I wouldn't, it'd be a full time. Because I wanted to replace my job's money
Hmm.
plus more. And I had a very good, I would say, decent paying jobs because I had
Hmm.
commissions and everything too. So anyway, that's basically, I
That's
think. So to answer your short, now finally, what keeps me I think now is just never wanting to go back to the life. I wake
mm.
up every day uh doing or wanting to do what I love. So as long as I can keep making money, just doing this would be what keeps me happy, right? I can do this, spend time with my family, eh, is and never go back to working for someone else. Is quite literally what keeps me, I think, me now at this point. Had I never worked for someone else, I don't think I would have this strong of a happiness. So I'm glad I went on this journey, even though, when somebody would ask, I'd be like, what would you tell your old self? I'm like, I would not tell my old self to pick this path immediately, even though my brain goes, oh, yeah, how huge would my production company be? Because instead of working for other people, had I just immediately started, my
Right
production
now,
company,
huh?
but then I don't think I would be this happy because I'd just be chasing more money. Now I'm not chasing more money. I'm just chasing better gigs because that
Hmm.
makes me happier. Now it comes with more money. I'll take it.
Oh
I'll take
yeah,
it. But
sure.
but that's
Extra
not the
money is
goal,
never
right?
bad.
Yeah, but we're not. I'm not trying to chase money. I'm trying to chase
Exactly.
better, fun, more projects,
Hmm.
and
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 money
anyway,
can
yeah,
follow you after that because
exactly.
that's the whole point. People don't think about this, but I realized that
Hmm.
when I first got here, I never told you, but I was working in a restaurant when I was a student here.
Oh, I think Mario told me because I went to eat at a restaurant in this area, and I was telling, it was like, oh, Nat used to work here, unless it's a different restaurant. I don't know. But anyway, he was like, oh yeah, Nat used to work there or whatever, and I was like, oh,
Hmm.
that's interesting. I didn't know that,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
I have to. That's why I have to change myself in order to do what I do
hmm,
now and the person that I become here. I believe people that succeed has to suffer, sort of,
hmm,
and it's part of that professionalism and it's part of that person that they become.
hmm,
I kind of have that path for now. That those scenarios I stand in make me more humble of what I am in terms of relationships, in
Mhm.
terms of professionalism, also in education. I never told you that I am also doing classes for people in photography.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, you're versatile. You're
Yeah,
doing so
yesterday.
much.
Oh no, it was today.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's today that I had a couple of 60-year-old a couple that they wanted to have classes with me because they had a trip in February to Africa, and they were like, "I need to
How'd you
learn."
find them?
Because I had I create a profile in a place called superprof.com.
Oh.
Yeah, there you can check it out. I can send it to
Oh,
you.
I want to see it now. So that's pretty interesting. So you're doing,
Yeah,
quite a bit of things.
I'm
But that's
looking
good.
around.
You're trying to find yours. I don't guess your
Yeah,
way.
I'm trying to find what I wanted to be, in certain way that I wanted, not following anyone else's path. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like putting my based on my own path, as you
Mm-hmm.
did.
Yeah.
But you I don't know, you're a little bit older than me, but it's kind of like my question regarding what the person you are now,
Yeah.
because
I think you just have to
that's
go on your journey. That's what makes you a
mhm.
person. Because, we can all say, oh, yeah, like we could have gone 15, 18 years. Oh, no, I say 15, 10 years, whatever. Whenever Bitcoin was popular, I was literally talking about Bitcoin with everyone. And then I
Oh
was silly enough
yeah.
to say, who's going to pay for this? And now we can all
Me.
say, oh, I should have bought Bitcoin because it's like over 100 grand or whatever right now. Like, but that's just hypothetical, right? We can all say, like I said, I talked all day about Bitcoin, doesn't mean I bought it. And
Hmm.
and I can't be miserable now saying, oh, I could have bought it for pennies or whatever it was, back in the day.
Yeah.
But to be real, it is very important to carve your path. But at the same
Hmm.
time, it wasn't easy. I don't want anyone to think what makes
Hmm.
it easy, at least for me, is I'd rather work 60-hour weeks, 70-hour weeks working for myself because it doesn't feel like work. So you work
Hmm.
really hard, but it doesn't feel like work. It feels like I'm just following my passion.
Exactly.
Versus if you do work someone else, even 40 hours feels like a too much. You're like, ugh. Right? That is the transition. You actually work more. I don't want anyone to think like by working for yourself you'll work less.
No,
You'll work more,
you
but
are
it
more.
just that wouldn't feel like work if you're
Hmm.
passionate about it. I don't know. I think that's what I'm saying. Find your passion, and obviously, hopefully, if people are listening to this, they actually like video
Yeah.
production or something relative to it, like they want to be a DP or a gaffer or a grip or whatever. Then then it won't be work. It
Exactly,
would.
because you're enjoying it, and at
Yeah.
the end, it's kind of like, oh, you're having a hobby
Yeah.
right now.
Ex-
But here's the thing: when you are starting things that you love, sometimes you don't know how to do it, and before that, when you are in a job like 9 to 5, sort
mhm.
of, because I did, I start thinking, okay, they pay me my bills and everything, I'm feeling good, but at the same time, I feel like shit because
Mhm.
uh, this place is not like make me feel that I can grow
Mhm.
in different ways, right? And you also feel this, not only me, like everyone have this feeling that I need to get told what I have to do,
Mhm.
because
And then they'll say you didn't can't get a promotion because you didn't initiate. You weren't initiative enough to do something. It's like, yeah,
that's
it's a
crazy.
counterproductive. Where that's
Yeah.
like, hey, you need to have a degree to have this job. Oh, no, sorry, a 5-year experience to have this job, and
Yeah.
then they're like, they can't give you a job. So it's like, how am I supposed to have this experience? Because you
Yeah.
can only get an entry level job with experience.
It,
It's
the good
catch 22 of it anyway.
the crazy thing is that I was a teacher in the National Library in Orlando here.
Mhm.
To me, to get that job was really hard because I kind of have to step a little bit up of regarding of everything that I did in Colombia and put it in here in that interview, and they selected me. But
Which
if
is awesome, by the way.
yeah,
Congratulations. I
thank
know
you.
you did that. But that literally brings me to the other thing I want to talk about. As you
Hmm.
notice, it's a rarity to be a female in the film industry or
Mm,
in just corporate industry. I want to say I'm not in the
yeah, that's
real
true.
film industry, but in this video business that we do, because again in this podcast you'll see a lot of the people I have, like the buddies, they're just
The
guys,
bodies.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
And
yo.
it's not by choice. Like I will hire anyone who's good, right? Or
Yeah.
at least work or go work for them who's good. So
We are
what?
diverse here.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
Sort of.
yeah. I mean, like I don't choose to be real.
Mhm.
That's a I don't know the topic.
If you're doing
Yeah,
good your job,
yeah.
maybe
That's what
you
matters
can.
to me. I don't care who you are, what you are, as long as you do good. We can work together, or you're fun, and plus you're fun to hang out around. But anyway, from your perspective, is that harder to find jobs because you're a female, or what have you noticed? Because it is less people who are females working in this industry, right?
Well, here's the thing. It's not well, it's the industry, but you know that there are different like steps in the industry and regarding to the department as well. Because I've been seeing that a bunch of girls that are producers, they have to deal with a bunch of things too. But also for first ADs that they are also females and they are really good at all those kind of things. But I never like well, not never, but I encountered that there are not too many women into camera department.
Mhm.
So it's kind of interesting because maybe it's not something that they are interested in. And when I've been working with other men, I noticed that they feel a little bit uncomfortable with me because I kind of know stuff that they probably know too, but they are like, huh, I did it in a different way. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. So I try to not like step in
Mhm.
their things because I noticed that feeling of, oh, you're trying to do my job or something like that. And I'm like, no, but it's okay.
Mhm.
And I encountered those kind of
Yeah.
scenarios that I felt a little bit threatened in terms of don't touch my camera on don't touch this because la la la. And I'm like, oh, okay, okay. But that's why I want to work with you at the moment I met you because you were like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, yeah, and I know how to work with your gear because I already work with other gear like
Yeah.
a Ari Alexa Mini
Yeah.
or Ari LF, or those
Yeah.
are way more expensive
Yeah.
than whatever other Sony that I actually use, and a Sony that you
Yeah.
brought and is well, it was
What
really
is the
expensive.
FX6 there? I think,
FX6,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, that one. So yeah, it's kind of like those sense of yeah, I'm being in that step of technicalities
Mhm.
and no, I don't see any woman doing that too much, and I really encourage them to do that because if you do that and you want to
Mhm.
do whatever starting
Yeah.
for yourself to do, I don't know, content creation or whatever, you already have everything that you need and you don't need from anyone else to do
Yeah.
it for you. So
I
I
don't see why. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't want to be one of the people who's like, I don't see gender. That's just silly. But the thing is, I don't understand. It maybe again, and I don't know the
It
psyche.
looks silly a little bit, right,
Yeah,
when I
that's what
say
yeah. Like
it.
I don't know if women are just not interested in the field or what, but I'm
Mhm.
like even when we have meetups or whatever, there's very few, maybe one or two females. It's just mostly guys. So I'm like, I don't know what it is, why there's not women. Because again, the capability is not an issue. I've seen you obviously work, so it can be done. There's nothing to it.
But I
It's a
believe.
technical and a creative job, right? And technical
Mhm.
is freaking pressing buttons, and the creative is being creative. I don't know what that has to do with gender, this job that we do, but it is something I've noticed, and it's not that hard to notice because you go to any filmmaking, networking, especially like I said, into the type of work I do, commercial and corporate work.
Mhm.
You will, I will find, like I said, very few females,
Mhm.
and you are obviously breaking the stereotype here,
Oh.
and so thanks for like second coming and doing this, but and then you're obviously it's not nice that you've encountered those things because uh
Yeah. But
whoever
I
yeah
get, I mean, I know it. I mean, I'm kind of like, I get it, you know?
yeah, but at the same time you have to work harder, right?
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
getting the same day rate, and hopefully you're getting the same day rate,
Yeah.
and, and then you have to now go, I know with me, hey, I paid you the
Yeah,
same I
yeah,
pay
yeah,
other
yeah.
people.
That's
I'm
great.
not,
That's great.
there's no gender pay
Thank you,
gap here,
man. Thank
but
you.
assuming other people are doing the same thing, so not only you're getting a day rate, hopefully the same day rate, but then you have to also work harder because like you said, you have to now prove yourself because they're already like doubting you, makes it harder for
Especially
you, right?
older guys. Older
Mm.
guys are really like, oh, because I have working. Well, my job right now is like basically DIT
Mhm.
for a company for well, it's podcasts
Mhm.
for B2B.
Uh,
So I have to like set every camera, every lighting there, and also have to deal with the footage and the audio and
Mhm.
put it back to where I need it and all of that. And they really respect me. And That's
That's
something,
awesome.
yeah, that's something that I was like, bro, I need this job. Like, not
So
because of I need it, it's because
y-
I feel really
yeah, because you
comfortable.
feel welcome, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna ask you. So how's compare me the world of freelance to now having a job, and what's the contrast to it? But it seems like also it's a good job because you're fully in charge. Seems like. But anyway,
Hmm.
what have you noticed a difference in having a job, but in a job in a field that you like
Hmm.
versus freelance work or some other jobs that you've had?
Here's the thing: this job is also, I'm a freelance contractor
Okay,
in
well
that
that's how
job.
most jobs are, right? Anyway,
Yeah, but
they
it's good
call it,
because
yeah.
I have my own space for my own projects as well, and that's something that I never going to feel the same. I mean, I never have that
Mm-hmm.
in the last job that I had. It was the library one. I have to ask for few hours for vacations. I have to
Mm-hmm.
check on my PTL or CP whatever thing, and oh, it was really hard. And I kind of feel like I have to work Saturdays because libraries have to work Saturdays, and I'm
Wow.
kind of actually I didn't notice that I was also like a government employee as well because people
Yeah,
pay
because
their
of yeah.
taxes
Mm-hmm.
here and they pay for our job here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I felt a little bit unsatisfied. But here's the thing: they also have good things there. Like they have a film festival, and that's something that I wanted to ask you to if you wanted to do that. We can do like a film festival or something.
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know.
don't know. I'll let other people do that. I mean, Mario just did one with
Yeah, he did
Daisy,
it.
right?
He
Yeah.
did it.
No,
Yeah.
I want to go
Maybe
to.
maybe it's because I'm a woman. I wanted to do it for women too,
Yeah,
but
I
in
mean,
Latin
no, I
people or
think you should
something.
do. I'll support you. I'll come be, whatever you want me to do. But no, I think the reason I say that is I want to take my movie to a film
Oh
festival, see how that is,
yeah. Okay,
you know,
fair. I
and
never
then
gonna
I'll
say
bring
any.
mine to yours. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
as
yeah,
long
yeah.
as you're,
I'm
you
not gonna
don't,
say that we're friends. No, just kidding.
yeah, don't tell people that. No, but no, that's awesome. Like I say, you're breaking gender stereotypes. You're doing great work. And now that you're a podcast expert, I wanted to ask you to judge my this thrown up podcast setup. Quite literally, what happened when I started this, like I said, after years of saying it, I literally took everything in my camera cart in 10 minutes and made this happen. So it's not my best work, but hey, it doesn't matter. This isn't a visual thing. I
Well,
think
I think
either
you're.
way, what would you rate this podcast setup? Huh?
Well, here's the thing. You're kind of like saying thoughts that it makes me feel that you're overwhelming too much on the set that you work on, and I think that is pretty good based on everything that we did first when we got here.
Yeah.
And I think that you had a pretty good job here, and I feel really honored to be here. And
Okay.
thank you for inviting
Yeah.
me.
But you think I did a good job on lighting and
I
everything?
I believe
Do I
I
get
truly
Nat's
believe.
approval? Okay.
Yeah, I truly believe that I like that.
The tree.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love the tree. I don't know where you get it, but it's
I
beautiful.
don't know. Julie found it.
And you
So
know I like
yeah.
this environment, darky and a little bit of
Yeah.
wood is really good. I love
Is
the
that what you
wood.
would do?
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
definitely.
Okay. Well,
You
from
you told
somebody
me
who's
that.
somebody who's getting paid to make podcasts, I really feel good that you
Yeah,
like
because
this.
I actually have to set different sets on my job too, and they fill it up with other objects that is too much, and sometimes you can get distracted because the space is really big,
Yeah.
and sometimes people just need to see this conversation.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more cozy. I feel that it's kind of like the environment that you were
Hmm.
looking for is not like only the big studio.
Yeah.
You just want your own studio at home
Yeah.
chilling. Yeah,
No, and I to be honest, I
I
wanted to
love
have
it.
real
And I
conversations,
love
and
this
that's
light.
what that is. Awesome. No, and I think that's exactly what I try to accomplish was just a real conversation, and I'm glad you like it. But obviously we'll change it for season 2, and I'll get your input on it.
Yeah, please
But
go
let's see.
ahead.
I mean, let's see if people want to listen to it. I would have loved to. This is
I will
exactly
share
what I
it.
wanted to listen to when I was starting up, or at least even knew when I'm like, when you start a video freelancing, you go,
Hmm.
how do I scale it up? How do I market myself, or what do I do differently? And this is where we've been covering, especially the other episodes, like exactly what to do, how to run ads, or how to sell. And I'm like, that would be so knowledgeable. or just how to find your path or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And so anyway, that's the goal, and I'm
Actually,
learning already so much because I didn't know. We've known each other for a while, and I didn't know some things about you. This is already worth it for me,
yeah,
right?
yeah. You didn't know how I met Mario,
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. But because I don't know, that doesn't come up on set, right? Anyway,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
no, no.
So,
I actually have to say that when you mention about ads and all of that in my job, we have different podcasts that we run out, basically for B2B companies in terms of a specific marketing.
mhm.
I will probably send you something and you
Okay,
will check it out.
look
And
at
you let
that.
me know if
Yeah.
the lighting that I did for them and the color corrections that I did is good
Oh,
because I did the
awesome.
color
I'm looking
correction for
forward
that.
to it. Yes, please
Yeah.
send me
And the
anything.
yeah.
No, this is, like I said, this is incredible. Anyway, I want to go back. So there's three types of content I think you helped me with. So obviously we talked about the movie, which is like an indie movie feel. Obviously we're going all night. And
Mhm.
then live streaming, which is you're just cam opping. Now here comes the my bread and butter. What we do typically is talking head and b-roll,
Mhm.
and you did one of those with me multiple days
Yeah.
where we were literally like, go to the office, set up quickly, get b-roll, get interviews, then get in the car, go to the next location, unpack, set up, record,
For the
pack,
villages.
go to the next one, right? And we're doing that over and over again, and that's just part of, I've done that sometimes 18 of those in a day. It gets wild. So you got to become, efficiency is key, right? Because you have a schedule, you got to keep up, and some of these
Mhm.
people have limited availability because they're business owners or whatever, they're their
Mhm.
clients, which is even worse because now you're not only representing your company, you're representing the company that hired you, so you have to do good. Anyway, you can't be late or whatever because that's not only
No.
harming your relationship with those people, but also the company that you're going for. Anyway, point is, you did that, which is to me the wild stuff that you do, but that's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
Compare that to the other two and what you thought about it, and which of the three is kind of your style or that you like better.
Oh, that's a hard question because I'm kind of like everything we do.
Hmm.
I just wanted to use the camera for whatever filming. And the thing that I love actually was when we were hearing people's experiences for the interviews.
Hmm.
That's kind of like something that I loved. And also the way that we ask them some questions that are really into emotional parts. I remember in the villages, there are people that, well, there are a bunch of people that they talk about their husband when they
Hmm.
die and things like that, and
Yeah,
I'm like, whoa, this
yeah,
is
because that
really
yeah.
deep. Yeah. And those kind of things are kind of more intense for me.
Hmm.
But to hear more,
Yeah.
because I enjoy what I'm doing, and respectfully learning from
Hmm.
others, like experiencing
Hmm.
their own lives and knowing that what I have so far and everything that I am achieving is really healthier,
So that's
sort of.
awesome. So that's a
Yeah.
very good thing, and it happens with me every interview. You learn somebody's
Hmm.
story, but on the filmmaking side,
Oh,
you're doing so much more, right? Because now
yeah.
not only, because
Lighting.
like for example, like the live streaming gig we talked about, you're operating the camera. That's your task, right?
Uh huh.
But here, not only are you driving, right? You're unpacking, you're unloading, and then you're also setting up. Now your camera, because I think you were third camera or whatever, right?
Hmm.
Again, so you're now operating a handheld,
I
extra
love
angle,
handheld. I
and
love
then you
handheld.
have to pack up. Load up and rinse and repeat over and over again. As a filmmaker, obviously it's hard. It's hard,
It's
is what I'm saying.
hard.
Because I know as
Have to
somebody
have a
does that.
bunch of energy.
So, how did you find that? I'm saying, like, in the filmmaking side of it. Uh, anyway, how was that experience, and do you enjoy that? Or I don't know, how could I make it better? I mean, stuff like that. I wanted you to talk like more on that side, like, how was that experience doing it over and over again?
Well, first,
And
when
problem
you
solving, because we went to
exactly
different places, right? And every place we have
tape.
30 minutes to set up, and it's like, they've some place there's no location, so you have to make a location, or somewhere. I think we had a sun issue, so we're all trying to. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have time to set up a frame, and that's what people don't
Mm-mm.
realize. You cannot judge. filmmaking, because if we're giving 30 minutes to set up everything, I don't have time or energy, like to go
Yeah,
set up
for the
big frames.
golfing
Yeah, yeah,
experience,
yeah.
yeah.
It was the golf, yeah, and then there was a golf course behind, and it's bright, and so we
Hmm.
had to find the best way to just mask the sun. Anyway, so it's
Okay.
like you're problem solving, right? So I'm saying
Hmm.
on the spot, you don't have much time. It's not like we have 30 minutes to figure it out. We
I
have like 5 minutes
know.
to figure out the problems.
Here's the thing. I believe that when you're a filmmaker in these scenarios with when you have to be really on live and wild and all of that, you recognize that you just need to remember the outside and remember that you have to change certain things in order to get the better quality in terms of lighting, exposure, and those kind of things are really important while you're thinking in all of the things together.
Hmm.
So it's something that you experience doing it,
Hmm.
and you have that experience so you can work it out better in controlled environments. So I believe that as a camera operator, not only changing those details and knowing the settings, knowing what the lens that I need, what the if I need to change the meta port or something else with the filters that I need for brightness or shadows or darker
Hmm.
area in the same day, or
Hmm.
I don't know, you never control the light sunlight, so it's kind of hard because you have to
Yeah.
deal with that, and some cloud is going on and you have everything set in the last minute. You have to change ISO, shutter speed. Well, shutter speed not,
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
using it more
Yeah.
for photography,
Yeah.
but just for film is really hard because when
Hmm.
you're filming, you have to keep going with the 24 frames per second, and
Hmm.
you can't move anything else. You just barely move the ISO, and if you do that too much, you will crap it out the entire picture
Yeah.
because we need like a little bit of time
Yeah, because anything
to
beyond
work
the
it out
native
with that footage.
ISO, you're
Yeah.
affecting the noise, and then it also doesn't match the noise on the other camera or whatever. So, like you say, it's huge challenging, and that's why I find it funny when people go with me anyway to
And
film, and then they're
sometimes,
like, "What settings?" I'm like, "Settings are set. I already decided the
yeah.
f stop." The shutter, the ISO.
Hmm.
Anyway, now you
Yeah,
have to
that's
control
true.
lighting. What I'm saying is, now obviously that scenario is different because we couldn't control the
Hmm.
sun. If we had time, sure, we could have controlled the sun and put more lights.
Yeah.
But what I'm
Sometimes
saying, yeah,
when I'm moving and we need like a moving shot,
yeah,
sometimes to save batteries on
mhm,
the gimbal, I turned it off. But we needed it now,
yeah,
so it takes a while to turn on. So you're like, oh my God.
exactly. You're
So
you're always chasing, and that's what I'm saying. Those are the type of scenarios where you're just chasing, the shot, and then
moments.
also, most of the settings are set, so your only thing you can change is lighting. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what I wanted. Now, obviously, I do give my operators freedom, like you said. If
Hmm.
you have to change ISO a little bit,
Yeah,
you
but
have
not
to
too
change it.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to get a properly exposed shot. You
Hmm.
can't just sacrifice that. But what I'm saying is typically all you can change is lighting. So you have to make it work because we
Yes.
already decided on everything based on, I'm saying, on my end, at least
Hmm.
for my shoots, like this is the look, right? So
Yeah.
the look is the look, right?
Yeah, I
And
remember when you said, for example, you pointed up different shots for one purpose in terms of one live event, and
mhm,
you create like this like shots between. So you have the wide shot, you have the close, really stream close up, and stuff like that. So me as a camera operator for a wider angle, I have to like be steady. So that job is chill, but at the same time, if I have to do something else with a tighter one that I have to catch hands and things like that,
mhm,
it's something that I have to prioritize, right?
mhm,
So those kind of things are make me feel that I need to be more creative because
mhm.
you need B-roll, you need more than just the face of the person talking and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's making the difference that Mindra production is that you have a new value of the content that you
Mhm.
did. So in order to get what the client need, but in order that go a little bit farther of what they
Mhm.
want. So that X
Exactly. Like
structure
you
is
said, that
really good.
extra, the creativity you still add as a camera operator. Like you said, I can say, hey, here's the third angle, but
Hmm.
I'm not just wanting, like you said, their face. We want the hands, we want the
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 dog,
detail, the
they
dog,
have
and that's it.
dogs.
Yeah,
Like,
or
yeah, why not?
whatever it is, right? And it's the detail that makes your shots amazing, right?
Hmm.
And it's not just the settings, like you said. So that's incredible that you're saying that because that does. matter. And that's
Mm-hmm.
ultimately because in the edit we want to have more options to pick from to build whatever the story that we're trying to tell. And that video came out incredible, by the way.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah,
I
and I
mean,
remember I actually have to say that sometimes we only on a side that we know everything in terms of gear and cameras and all of that. We have to be a little bit of a production designers as
mhm,
well, because any environment that we have to fill up
yeah.
something behind the person, object of whatever we're filming, it has to be beautiful, or it has to look in certain way that we had a foreground and in between a
Hmm.
background or something, in order to have that shallow depth of field or that type of sharpen on the person, but
Hmm.
around a little bit of that bokeh and things like
Yeah.
that, right? So those things are more professional in terms of filmmaking, and that's the
Hmm.
difference between broadcasting. Because when I work with broadcasting people, they are like, "Oh no, no, let's go, keep going, and everything is in focus, and that's it." And I'm like, "No, we're filming in 50 over 50 shutter speed, and I don't know, like I remember the last time it was like 30 or no 30 frames per second or something like that
For what?
for broadcasting, or
Yeah,
50.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
no, yeah.
it's
Well,
30.
I use 2997 when
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
going
sort
to
of
live
30.
stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they were like, it's kind of different, and they don't appreciated it as
yeah,
the way filmmaking
yeah.
is
No,
for storytelling.
I'm telling you, that's what was my reason to come to America. I mean, my dream job was, journalism, like I said, well, camera and
Yeah.
department. And then as soon as I showed up to the news channel, I was like, this is
Not
not
creativity at
filmmaking. This is
all.
this is not what I want
Super
at all.
standard.
So yeah, no, no, that's what I'm like. I get it, completely get it. It's,
And the
and I mean, they have
lighting.
to be real, they have a different way of
Yeah,
what
it's
they're doing.
respectable.
No,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is they're trying to tell a story, right? But their story is
Really
news or
standard.
whatever. Right? It's not creativity that's they're being judged on. So point is, I'm totally happy for good journalists, but yeah, I couldn't do it. I'm very much like you said, creative. I want to
Yeah.
choose the depth of field. I want to choose what's in the
Certain
foreground, the
angle.
background. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing for me, like I said, because I had to let go of some of this, because I have to bring in creative people like you to handle the camera. So I can now step back and I can look at the overall picture and go, okay,
Hmm.
how can I tell the story, right? And every camera angle, every sound bite that they're giving, every lighting or whatever, or the dog, like you said, or things, they're part of the story. And to me, that's incredible because I'm standing there. Plus the editing, obviously, I don't want to take out the edit part of it, but we're deciding the story. We could have built that video 500 million ways, right? Like where
Hmm.
it would have been a slightly different story if each time. And so I don't know. I find that incredible. The power of we control the narrative, we build a story, and at the end of the day, it's the client who now gets to share with their clients, and they get to make more revenue and more money and get their ROI back from it. And
Hmm.
all we wanted to hear was the client was like, "This video is incredible, like the
I never
best video
expect
ever."
this. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what you want to hear. And then now you feel proud because we put hundreds of hours into it, right? Between traveling there, shooting, editing, right, and collaborating together.
Hmm. That
And
part,
yeah.
that part. I noticed it that after I finished my bachelor's degree in social communication and journalism, we're now having a crew, like a
Hmm.
person and another like group around a teamwork. We don't have that too much.
Hmm.
It's more like corporate and things like that. That this environment is a little bit like wild. But when we are filming something in a professional way, that we're storytelling something that is more into emotional sides and also for revenue, working together is really key. Is a key, and that's something that inspires me a lot too.
Yeah.
Not only because I like photography or cameras or filming, is more like also the way that I collaborate with people that are able to collaborate,
Hmm.
and that's also something that I really love for filmmaking.
No, absolutely. This is the what 14, 15 years I've been physically getting paid to make videos, and years
Hmm.
before I did it for free with friends, right? But what I'm saying is there, and I'm still saying like I couldn't do this by myself
Yeah,
because
true.
a lot of people, funny enough, have asked that question.
Mm.
And then they met me like, why corporate radio especially, like making a video for a company. Why even bring a crew when one person can do it? And my whole thing is, yes, can one person do it? Absolutely. But then so can the business owner pick up a phone and say, hi, this is my business, right? You don't even need then a crew. So
Hmm.
obviously you can do it with one person. And obviously that one person can go make a creative video. I'm not discounting that.
Yeah.
But when you bring like that video that we were just talking about, by us bringing, and which to me is still a small crew, it was just what, 4 or 5 of us, right?
Hmm.
Either way,
But I believe that's a really good like
size crew, right?
size.
For corporate, yeah.
Yeah.
But then we were able to do things that one person could never do,
Mm.
right? And then the stories that we're able to tell is better for the brand, because their content matches the like, I think the video we were making was going to be played
Hmm.
at an event, $1 million event, right? That they're spending $1 million on 2 nights or whatever the event was. Half
The
a
food it
million
was
dollar a
really
night.
good.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, uh, the video cannot be shot by one person, because I don't care who you are, right?
No, you need a
How much
team.
experience you have, you cannot make a video good enough by yourself,
Yeah.
to good enough.
Yeah.
It's a collaborative person. No, I don't care, like I said, how good you are. You have to. The reason that video was great was because it wasn't my video. It was our video. It
Hmm.
was all of us, all the way from pre-production to editing to shooting, us working, and every, like I said, we've seen where, like, okay, so now we have this challenge. How do we fix it, right? And it was all collaborating together. Plus, again, single person, I don't even know how you set up and take down by yourself
Yeah.
that many
Yeah.
number of times, right? And because you only have limited number of shoot days, limited number of time. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that it's a collaborative art form. Could you do it alone? Absolutely. But the budget obviously matters too.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, you can do better together. There is
Hmm.
no one out there that can do better alone than we can do better together, right? That's
Yeah,
that's
and
just the
it's kind of
truth.
like a family
Yeah.
because you feel that not only as a job or like a normal job is more than that. It's like, oh man, I wanna be in this shot, so let me film here. So we cut and you let this person go, right? Because you don't wanna ruin their shot as well. Like
Hmm.
it's kind of like in live events. Also, there are a lot of things happening, and one person can not like cover the whole thing, right? And that's something that is regarding to the way that each person is a world. So anytime you look at whatever thing you have in front is not going to be the same angle as yours or
Hmm.
anyone else,
Yeah.
right? So that's also the point that is really important for me to work with bunch of other people in terms of filming, because also you see it in films. You finish a film and you go, people don't do this, normal people don't do this, but you check on the whole numbers and the whole minutes after the movie, the credits, they have a bunch of people that, oh, the people that just serves coffee is what the fuck, but yeah, they work too, like
Yeah. And they help make it, because if you didn't have
exactly.
coffee, nobody's working.
Yeah, and the
That's one thing.
director can be pissed and
Yeah.
also didn't sleep. And if they don't have their coffee made it,
Yeah.
they're not gonna do better job. So
Yeah,
it's
and that's the thing, and that's why I'm like hoping some people listen to this and understand. Then, especially in the corporate world, like, sure, you don't need hundreds of people, but every single person is important, and that coffee that you bring for your crew is as important, and you have to do that role. Because guess what?
yeah.
Some people think, oh, we wouldn't need that. Well, technically, somebody is bringing coffee, and if you're not, then your crew's buying their own coffee, regardless. Most people drink coffee and that, or
Hmm.
Red Bull or whatever. They need something to start the day and be productive. Otherwise, you'll have a
Yeah.
bunch of, you
I
know,
remember the first time we were going to
yeah,
the villages. You say, okay, let's drink something. What do you want to drink? And I'm like, I'm not a coffee person, even though I'm from Colombia. That's weird. But yeah, I realized that we go to
some coffee at Starbucks or
yeah,
Dunkin' or
Starbucks or
whatever. I don't
something.
know. Yeah,
Yeah, and I pick up the dragon fluff, whatever
yeah.
mango, and I was like, yeah, go for it. And that thing made me go to the bathroom multiple times, but it's okay. I'm
And I don't
fine.
even know if like it helped you with the wake up part, which is why we drink coffee or whatever. Because here's the thing, what we do again is very fun and we love it, but it's not easy. Again, and also it's very
No.
mentally taxing, because again, you're being creative, technical, plus physical too, moving all that equipment. And it needs energy, and and some people maybe don't need it. Obviously, you're naturally energetic, but at least for most people that I work with, want coffee. What I'm saying is,
they need to love the job.
yeah, so that's
Yeah.
part of the job. What I'm saying is somebody's gonna have to buy the coffee or bring the coffee. Somebody's gonna have to buy food. Somebody's gonna like set light. Somebody's gonna set, whether that's one person, whether that's two people, that's three per people. That job is important, right?
And also thinking about everything that can happen
Yeah.
in a film. That's something that I love also from filmmaking. You have to think about everything that you probably never think that can
Hmm.
come up with, or something like that. You
Yeah.
have to be prepared. For
Yeah.
example, last time we're filming a feature film with Mario and for a friend,
Hmm.
and she was like, "Hey, let's go to this forest," and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I mean, I like forests. I'm not. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But here's the thing: a forest in the middle of July in Orlando, that's really, really hard.
Yeah.
I have to
First, I want to
troubleshoot.
know, where is a forest in the middle of Orlando?
Well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of like a
yeah. You
forest.
mean like the woods? But I mean, I get you. What you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she wanted to go in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Orlando in July, that would be like a nightmare scenario because
It was 5 days of
bugs
pain,
and
but
yeah,
we finally ended up really well and
yeah,
everything. But it was really hard, and thinking about
yeah. Bug
everything
bites,
aspect,
right? Yeah.
bites,
Who
like
knows what
bunch
else?
of bugs,
Where's
weird
Florida
bugs.
man? Who you don't know who
Yeah,
you're gonna encounter. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, but
yeah.
it was normal because she have permission for a lot of things, so it was good. But sometimes water, we run out of the water
Oh, that's
stuff,
not good.
and it
Yeah,
was really
that's not good
yeah, that was
preparation.
yeah, yeah. And sometimes we don't sleep. We have to film at night, or we have to film all the night, and it was really hard. And yeah, it was low budget thing, but we were having fun because he's a friend, so we want to make sure
Hmm.
that we're make it done or get it done for whatever we're
Yeah,
at the end proud of what we did, right?
yeah.
But those kind of things make me think about everything, make me think
Hmm.
about like multi tools that I never have to think about as a normal person. If I don't have experience in a film, I don't never have to buy anything like that,
Yeah.
or a bunch of gaffer tape. I love gaffer tape. I never want to live without gaffer tape. I believe that's amazing.
That's a filmmaker's duct tape, right? We
Yeah.
use it on freaking everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the better problem solver ever. This is in Colombia. Well, in Latin America, people say the oldest um it's kind of like la vieja confiable. It's kind of like something that you always need, and this is like millions of years that people do
Yeah.
that. Like this
No, I
is
have
your
like 20, 30 freaking rolls of tape. I can never have enough. But they run out so fast too, man. And
right.
you
Yeah,
should invest in a gaffer tape company. Anyway, no, not
yeah,
investment advice, but you know
yeah.
what I
Me
mean.
too.
Like the amount of gaffer tape I buy, is kind of
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I need to buy
Uh,
some little parts of
yeah.
a company like that for real. Yeah.
But that's a, like you said, essential tool. uh yeah, but no, that's my main thing. I want people to make money, have fun doing this, and be able to make a career out of it. And I'm also tired of listening about so many people who are passionate about it
Hmm.
leaving this because they couldn't find a way to make enough money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's so many companies out there, there's so many people who need a video made, that there's so much work that there's no reason anyone should not be making a good living out of this. So now obviously you went the other path, which is interesting, but hey, path is a path. You found yourself a fantastic job that is in the field, that's paying well, and you're happy, obviously, sounds like, right? So that is another way. It doesn't have to be, because you don't have to run out and just start a production company immediately, right? You can go work for someone else, and like you said, it sounds like it's really incredible because they're giving you enough time to do your
Hmm.
own freelance projects, so you can still come
Yeah.
help me or anyone else who wants to hire you as a cam op or DP or whatever,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So
and
so
they
that's an incredible path that you took, and I'm so happy for you.
thank you. And actually, the here's the thing. I'm not doing my own company yet because I need to learn a lot.
Hmm.
I don't feel comfortable yet to do it, and I believe that it's good to have a mentor. It's
Hmm.
good to invest on learning because that's a really huge step
Yeah.
in terms of whatever you wanted to achieve. And I'm not the person that have a successful
Yeah.
I don't know, company or something, but I believe that for get there to
Hmm.
be there, you must troubleshoot a lot
Yeah.
stuff that you don't know.
And another
And
path for you is you don't even have to start a company. If you since you're
mhm,
good camera operator, DP, you could just make a living, being a
mhm,
camera operator and DP. You
mhm,
don't even have to start a production company if it doesn't
mhm,
encourage you. Because half of the thing I have to do is uh, s- not the things I enjoy, like I don't know, accounting, hotel
oh,
booking, I don't know, flight booking. There's a lot more to it than just,
planning, yeah.
yeah, a lot of planning that's more than just filmmaking. I wish it was
Mhm.
most of it. And then a lot of times I don't even get to be on set. Like, I've talked about people where, like, I've hired people and sent them on set, and then I'm on a different project, so I'm not even on those sets. So it's a different thing than DP or cam op, or
Mhm.
or just the job. So how do you see your future? Are you happy where you are? What are you looking to do next?
Well, I believe that I want to start making more films regarding. Here's the thing. Um, when I first got here, thinking about filmmaking and all of that, everyone think that they wanted to be director. I
Hmm.
have that path in my mind,
Hmm.
but then
Director or DP, right?
yeah,
That's what I hear.
before
Yeah.
before director
Yeah.
of photography, I was thinking about director only, because I was like, yeah, I have good ideas, but then I find out that I'm not like a person for dealing with actors.
Mhm.
I can't. But I believe that I wanted to achieve what the directors want,
Mhm.
So that is more in my way of thinking it is really better for me, because it's more creative. It's more like
Mhm.
the sense of what this person needs for the film, and I can achieve it in the way that everyone can visualize in it, right?
Mhm.
And also for different aspects such as lighting things and making this style that they're looking for, right? So that's the magic that I wanted to perceive in the future. I really wanted to do a really good color correction for certain things before it gets done in post production already.
Mhm.
So to encounter that experience, and also I know we have to use a lot while we're filming, because we need to use the raw file, right?
Mhm.
But in the sense of this environment to make it easier for the colorist or something, that's what I want. That's what I am looking for. And that's my path. I believe that that's what I want, to be a good DP
Mhm.
for whatever director they wanted to achieve, whatever story or genre that they're looking
Mhm.
for or something.
That's awesome. I think you're already mostly there, right? You just need
Thank
to
you.
No, I mean, at least for me is when I'm directing, because I'm also DP myself and I'm
Yeah.
working with other people, but at least I have no issue, you bringing you on. So you're doing great work.
Thank you.
But no, that's awesome though. At least what I love is that you have a clear, where you want to be, what you want to do, and you're obviously on the path to get there. And no, that's incredible. And so, what type of, like, are you want to do indie movies, or do you want to do corporate DP? What type of DP do you want to be?
Mm, well, to become a really good DP, you have to do everything.
Hmm.
So you learn from it, because you have more experience and you get prepared. Because I did music videos.
Hmm.
I remember the last music video that I did was in a studio with LED walls in the background, and this changed my way of looking at the gear,
Hmm.
because normally we change the lenses all the
Hmm.
time, right, to make different sense of whatever we need and some stuff like that, right? But in this environment, you have a 3D space in the LED wall that can fit with whatever angle you have on the camera,
Mhm.
and you don't have to deal with any of the lenses. You don't
Yeah.
even have to change the lens.
I love virtual production, yeah.
That was amazing. I was like, no way, I can't believe this. And the guy says, yeah, I can scroll a little bit and put it blurry if you want, or I can make it farther enough for you to
Yeah.
have the object separated from the background. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I mean, this is incredible because normally back in the days, and also no, I'm not that old, but
Yeah.
I am younger, but also older to notice that the difference in you have changed in terms of the environment. You never changed the environment at that moment, and now you can have the chance, so you don't have
Mhm.
to deal with lenses as well. But that's something that loses a little bit of the magic
Mhm.
on filmmaking, right? Because I like when I say, okay, let's change it to 35 or
Mhm.
let's change it to 20, 24 because that wider is better than 35,
Mhm.
or go for a 85 because I really want this, or let's do this insert because this insert is more into 1000 or no 100 or 400 millimeter
Yeah.
lens. So those kind of things. Um, but at the end, it's not because of oh, I'm bougie, I want to change the lens. No, it's because more like into what the story is about,
Yeah.
what the purpose of it, and those things. I noticed that younger filmmakers don't have that.
Yeah.
When they make a film, they are like, oh no, I want to use it because I remember that someone else is using it in this film, but they don't realize that the film, the storytelling, the
Mhm.
purpose of it is not it doesn't make sense with the lighting or
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, no, I don't know why people are like, yeah,
Or
people do that.
motivation, the
Yeah,
lighting and all of
exactly. Yeah,
that.
people do that a lot with like lenses and stuff. Like you have to pick it based on the storytelling. You don't just pick a lens because some YouTuber told you or you like it or
Uh-huh.
whatever, right? It's a same thing like depth of field. People get hyper about like it has to be like extremely blurry behind, and I'm like, no, you if obviously if you're in a crappy office, I get it. But the point I'm trying to make is like
Yeah.
lens is a storytelling tool. So is
The
your settings
sizes.
and your
Uh-huh.
f-stop and everything. You pick that as something. I usually pick the f-stop before I even ever arrive on set because I know that's the type of story
Yeah,
you
that
want to
I
tell.
encounter when I
Yeah,
use your gear
yeah, exactly. I'm like, I already picked. This is what the look
that
is,
we
right?
need. Uh-huh.
And that's what you want to do as as a DP or director or whatever. I mean, I guess more DP.
Mm-hmm.
But because you're building the look, and that's where the lenses come in. Different lenses have different character. So if I'm ever picking lenses, they're based on the character that I want. You don't pick a lens because you just like it. I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I guess it has to match with the story,
Exactly.
right?
It's more
And
that's
that's what the art of DP is.
mm-hmm.
You're in charge of camera and lighting, and
Mm-hmm.
then the other thing is understanding lighting. How many DPs I've met who have no idea how to do, at least in the corporate field again,
Oh
lighting, and
yeah.
I'm like, you're in charge of lightings, and they're like, that's not my department. I'm like, no,
It is.
it is your
Wait,
department.
what?
What? You're
Where are
the
you come
DP.
from?
Yeah, and now I get it. Like you don't have to like know every fixture and know how to set up everything. Obviously, you're
Mm-hmm.
human, but you got to know what looks good and the look that you're going for, lighting ratios. Again, basic stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
but again, it's like nowadays there's so much great information on YouTube, but there also not enough like or maybe too much noise that people aren't going through because they need to be able to know what they need to know. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not just camera, and camera is a very small part of what a DP does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you're just a camera operator.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you say that it's incredible. So what would you tell somebody who's just starting out, who wants to be a DP, wants to be a cinematographer, and they obviously maybe don't have that eye yet, right? How do they? Because that's the creative part of it, right? I can
Mm-hmm.
teach anyone how to operate a camera. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Um, that eye for making the image look good, right, is what makes you a good DP.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
how do they develop it? Like, what would you say?
Well, first of all, knowing the story, knowing what you're doing, like sometimes having that specific thinking of, okay, what I'm doing is regarding, I don't know, drama or something more corporate. So those fields, how you can encounter as like a little standard point of view to work it out from the beginning to increase what your sense of that thing is, and then put yourself and your creativity on it. But not only as you, it's just more like into lighting, into the people that is around you, also how you can achieve certain looks. And for example, if you need to do like an interview for a person that have something regarding, I don't know, cancer or something like that, normally
Mhm.
they do something really sad, or maybe you don't want to do that, but you wanted to show more like, I don't know, this sensitive environment, right? So you find certain shots that are a little bit close ups, or you have to find the sizes, you have to
Mhm.
find the lighting, you have to find the person's characteristics that you're filming on, and kind of like looking and to glow it up with things that they have, and not only them, just the people around that is helping you with the, I don't know, the color around in the background, or the things that are around. You can work it out with different shots and angles, so it can be a little bit up or down. So it makes different senses. And for example, the cowboys thing,
Mhm.
that you look at the guy from downside, you put the this shot from the lower, a little bit lower and
Mhm.
looking up, and you feel that this is a cowboy guy,
Mhm.
intense, and he have the control of
Mhm.
everything. And those kind of things are part
Exactly.
of that sense of this DP sort of. But not only that, I realized that nowadays there are a bunch of DPs, new DPs, that are working with little things and macro lenses and things like
Mhm.
that, that can work it out with the more intimacy on the characters, what they're thinking, and things that you never going to hear, but you will see it. And
Mhm.
the character is not gonna tell you, but it's also there.
Yeah.
It's so good, those kind of things too. So I really wanted to encourage people to realize that when you visualize something, and you can think in different perspectives, in points of
Mhm.
view, and using different
Yeah.
techniques, and breaking rules are really important as well.
Yeah.
I remember that in some films, such as the Fight Club one, they build the entire set in a certain way that they can use the camera to work it out with doors that are opening, like three doors around,
Mhm.
and things that you are like not able to think about when you're
Yeah.
just watching them, right?
Yeah.
So those kind of scenarios as DP are really important, because you have this sense of what the people is going to feel in that shot, in that camera movement. Also,
Mhm.
not only the steady shots are important, also the movements, and
Mhm.
sometimes that's something
Yeah,
else.
in corporate video at least is so overused, like the gimbal, because the thing is the movement needs to be motivated. There has to be a reason for the camera to move. These are the things I expect a DP to think about, not the talent or whatever. Because you're just moving the camera just to move it because you can, because it's on a gimbal. I mean, which is why I'm like that gimbal is an incredible tool, but it's become so overused because people are just doing movements just to do movements, and you have to be it has to be
More creative.
yeah, and it has to be motivated by something. There has to be a reason why you're going in, out, whatever, or fake dolly shot or jib shot or
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're trying to achieve. And then the other thing I would tell anyone is just the best thing a DP knows is lighting.
Lighting,
Funny
yeah.
enough, because that makes your camera image look better. And the best way to learn lighting is just wake up in the morning, open your window, open your blinds, open your curtain, whatever. Let the sunlight come in. The best light in this world is the sunlight,
Sound
right?
like.
And you'd be amazed the type of things you would see. Watch it, like, I don't know, create shadows, create the
Mm.
reflections,
That's a good
right?
one.
Because and now you want to do that artificially, because the issue with that is 10 minutes later those will move because sun is moving, and we
You're
wanted, yeah,
prepared.
and I'm like, no, but we don't want it to move because, again, in an interview, again, my context, what I'm doing, I want the lighting to be exactly the same. I can't,
Yeah.
if I could, obviously the best lighting would be we could capture, the sun and just put it where we like it. But we can't do that, obviously. So
And is also good for the budget.
yeah, I can't imagine the budget where you can just hold the sun.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, which is why I'm like, just as long as you see it, right, it's one thing to create it, but if you don't know what you're creating, I hope that makes sense. As a DP, you need to first open your eyes and see, look around the world. Turn off those house lights, open the windows, open the curtains, look on a cloudy day, look on a sunny day, look just how the light looks, and
And the shadows.
and the shadows look exactly. Look at that, Nat. Anyway,
But I never think about it. Thank you. That's
yeah,
a really
no,
good
I'm glad.
one.
But
Yeah,
you know what I
man.
mean. That's how you look, and then what you do. Then once
Thanks.
you've done it, now you go to on a real set. Now you're, I don't know, 2 p.m. There's obviously no sun. If it is, it's harsh. Now you take your, I don't know, 1200 whatever light you want to use. Now you put it through the window, and now you know what you're looking for, right? Because it may
Mhm.
look good immediately, but it doesn't mean that's real or that's motivated or that's the best option. I generally would be like, now I know what I'm looking for. Let me move this lamp, or let me have my
Mhm.
gaffer or whoever is in charge
Or
move
Hollywood
this.
Ed.
Yeah, exactly, right. Move it until I'm looking and I'm like, oh, this is realistic. This is what I want, right? My thing is you have to first know what you want,
Mhm.
right, before you can
You
do it,
uh-huh.
because otherwise it's just happy accidents. And sure, you can get lucky once, you can't get lucky every time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, right, sometimes you do get lucky. Obviously, if you do 50 gimbal shots, I'm sure one will come out great, but that's just luck. That's not your talent. If you're talented, you gotta you gotta first know what you're doing, and then it's around you.
That one is really yeah, that's the best way to say it. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just saying, like, it's all around you. It's free. You don't need to buy any lighting course. Just open the window, open the blinds, just look the world around you, and then just try to practice to recreate it. But as soon as I think you learn good lighting, your images will just start to look great. And then if you want to work in my field, indie movies are good already, but if you now want to do corporate, now
Mm.
you learn how you can do that in 30 minutes, right? 20
Yeah.
minutes. That's
That's the
the
key.
challenge, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is hard, to be real. Sometimes it's hard because you have to make compromises. I'm not a fan of that. But sometimes you only have, like, hey, the CEO is gonna come in 10 minutes. Like, that's what you have. Or the worst case, you go into a building for a company or whatever, and then all they have is boring offices,
Mhm.
because it is the entire environment is just office after office after office, and
Uh,
all of them are ugly, that drab brown colors. So now you have to make it look good, or whatever, because you don't have time. And even
Mm-mm.
if you did have time at that point, you're like, I can only do limited things because actively working, there's customers coming in. Point I'm trying to make is, and it becomes harder, right,
Yeah.
to make it look good. And then that's where your creativity comes in. What
And the
can I do?
gear.
And the gear too is important.
Yeah, for example, when you motivate lighting,
Yeah.
right? Those things are really important. When you here's the thing: you said mention something regarding the new filmmakers that will gonna be the piece or something. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, lighting is also another field that I wanted to talk more.
Mm-hmm.
As you see it of the sun, thank you for that. Actually, when you take some shots in an office, especially in offices, that
Mm-hmm.
is really hard to maintain that boring style to out of a little bit, you
Yeah.
know. So we find out that we can work with a backlight that it has to be motivated at
Mm-hmm.
the same time with the whatever lamp they have around,
Yeah.
because if you just put a bunch of lighting from no reason without any motivation from whatever source,
Yeah.
it's kind of empty, it's kind of
Yeah.
like banal. So
Yeah.
those kind of things too like are
Yeah. Or
really
some way
important.
to figure out. The other thing is that they have this nasty tube or whatever lights.
Yeah.
They make people look ugly. I don't know what lighting they're putting in offices. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's like,
Yeah, where I was
figure out
working
if you can
too.
turn it off. I mean, just doing that would and obviously light up yourself. But what I'm saying is, just by turning off lights, you know, you're making the shot so much better, because I don't know what green hue or whatever crap
Mm-mm. And
they
you
have. It's
can
like
never dim it down or
CFL
something.
tube, whatever. Yeah, they have. But yeah, what I'm saying is, it's the quality on those lights is so low. I mean, throw not that it's necessary. If you put a color meter at them, it's they're ugly.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So the best thing you can do is just turn off those lights and then light it yourself. That by
Mm-hmm.
itself is already gonna be so much better. But no, they're making our job harder in corporate
True.
world, purposefully putting ugly lighting, ugly rooms, ugly everything. And then I've had conferences covered, man. These hotel conference rooms, they're so ugly. They're the colors that they pick. I'm like, who is
Who
in
made
charge
this?
of making these conference rooms? Because it's like they purposefully pick the ugliest and the nastiest colors to make these
No.
happen. And I'm like, deep reds and deep browns that are like,
Mm.
I don't know. Anyway, and then our job is to obviously come in and make it look pretty, or at least the best we
Or
can
change
do given the situation.
or change the white balance. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah, you
getting a
can do
good
it,
white
but
balance is
yeah,
so
that's
hard. Yeah,
crazy. That's crazy
yeah.
too because you don't want the skin tone to fucked up.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
it is because guess what? All of this is reflecting back. So their
yeah.
skin tone is a freaking mural of red and brown and all the BS colors, and then you're like, I don't know any white balance of this world
Yeah,
that's gonna
yeah, that's true.
bring out the natural skin tone in them. But it is what it is. And then they have projectors. At least again, conferences they have projector that's freaking half beaming on their face, and
No,
anyway,
man.
it is what it is. We just have to do the best in that scenario.
And when you have like a shot that you want the chiaroscuro, that's really hard too
A
because you
what?
don't
A what?
chiaroscuro.
What is that?
It's like the lighter part that the and against the dark
Uh,
part. It makes it more interesting and more professional.
mhm.
So those kind of
Yeah.
shots are also different to achieve because if you don't have a good like uh,
Negative. Yeah.
negative
Yeah.
space on it, is not
Yeah.
gonna be a sexier image as
Yeah.
it could be.
And see, that's the evolution of a filmmaker, right? You start with first no lights, then you get better and you start to add lights, right? You light up
Mhm.
the set. The third is you start to take
It's
away
too many
lights.
lights.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Literally, the evolution of filmmaker is like when you get really good, you start to take lights away because you're like, no, I need a negative here, I need a negative there. That's mostly what you're doing. And then the final, I think the new form is you got to add reflective lighting. You got to start adding
Yeah.
freaking panels everywhere to reflect light to give it those shadows that I'm talking about with
Hmm.
the sun, and make it look that type of image that you would see in the real world.
Hmm. And
But
the
anyway,
prints or
yeah.
something. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, the other thing very curious about is because obviously you're a camera operator, you're a DP, but on the other side, you're also dabbling in photography.
Mm.
And to me, those are, again, even though you're touching the camera, for both very different art forms. Because as a photographer, you're trying to stop the motion, right? You're trying to
Hmm.
capture a
The
frame
movement.
in of the movement. Versus in video, we're trying to capture the motion. We're not, stopping the motion. So similar but very very different object. Your final goal is very different. So how do you manage that, and how do you keep your brain
Separated
on
from each
or
other.
separated from each other and getting the right result at the end?
I believe is practicing. Because if you
Mic
don't,
dropped.
yeah. I mean,
I but that's what
I
it is. Yeah.
I put myself like, you know what, I'm going to figure it out too because I did it in Colombia when I was doing journalism. I have to do photography for
Mhm.
that, and I learned from it. And before I think about filmmaking, I was thinking about word and things like that. That I wanted to capture pictures for in Colombia we had guerrilla
Mhm.
and other criminal groups that are involved in different parts of Colombia, and they are really dangerous, and sometimes they kill people and all of that. And as a journalist, I wanted to, film that or take pictures of those scenarios back in the days when I was
Mhm.
thinking that. But I realized that I wanted to leave, so I was like, you know what, let's do filming because filming is chill, and I
Mhm.
can do the same thing but in a safe space, right?
Yeah.
So from that side I start thinking about the way that I can capture images and think about shutter speed as a main thing for effects. And in filming is really different because you can't move those in terms of what you're looking for. um, well, if you're using certain shots that you need certain movements is fine, but in terms of taking pictures is totally different. And not only that, as filming we have different lights that are constantly on, and keep going. But in terms of flashlights, it's really different, and how you understand the ISO and how you dim down certain things with f-stop, and all of those things is making you a good photographer as well. And those parts are really similar in terms of what are you are achieving, but not only that is the style of the photography that you're looking for. For example, headshots are certain way and certain colors and skin tones and backgrounds and things like that, and how you can direct people. That's another field, because when you take pictures of people, you have to direct them, you have to make them feel comfortable, and those things are really interesting, because you're in your when you are in a film is kind of the same, but just for a specific person to work it out with the characters in a film or the cast members, right? But in a term that a photographer is that you have to manage that and your camera as well, right? So you have to find the proper side of the person, and you have also to ask them, because they know themselves more than you do, right? And after that, you can encounter people that they like, I don't know, landscaping pictures or macro photography. I really love macro photography. I love it.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, I have to show you.
Yeah, I
I
would love to see some of your photography, because we all obviously
Yeah, I
typically
didn't
talk
show
about
you that.
video.
Yeah. But here's the thing. When you start looking at little things, you encounter that there's a huge environment inside of a little leaf, or inside of a next to a tree, I have to use a macro lens for a client that I had, because I helped someone with her jewelry company,
Okay.
and I also do her logo and things like that for her. And I have to take pictures of the accessories that she brought, and it is really interesting, that type of photography as well. I love it. I enjoyed it. It's more like into how you can do effects on certain objects, and those kind of things make me use the macro photography in flowers, and also with little bugs too, and things
Ooh.
that I never think that I can take pictures of.
Mm-hmm.
So those kind of scenarios as well, and not even using a flashlight, because you can use the sun in those
Yeah.
scenarios. You have a pretty good light, and you can just have to raise the shutter speed or lower the shutter speed. Well, in terms of lighting, here's the thing: for photography outside, you have to make sure that you can work it out with shutter speed before you use ISO, because ISO can crop your image, and the quality is really important in an image. Also, the way that you use a full frame camera between a APS one is that an APS one is not allowed in you to print a big screen thing, or for a building
Oh my
also.
goodness, already starting controversy about APS-C versus full frame here. Okay. Okay. No.
But yeah, but
Yeah,
here
but no, I see what you're
but it's
saying.
more like into printing styles,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not because of video production, because in video production is another way, right? If you're just filming for YouTube, it's understandable to use an APS-C, right? But if you're using something for a big screen like an IMAX, I understand that you're using like a 50, 70
Yeah,
millimeter
70
full
millimeter.
frame one, right? I understand that, but in terms of photography as well, we encounter those kind of elements, and the way that you print the image is really
Yeah.
important as well. And actually, back in the last job that I had, I was working with a guy that he's like 60, 30, no, 63 or something years old, and he's from Puerto Rico. His name is Pedro, and he's really nice, and he was doing photography back in the days with the negatives and all of that, and he's really good at it. And I'm like, oh whoa, I wanted to learn a little bit, because this is really interesting. That's the key of when it started,
Yeah.
it right. Also for film, because film started with photography as well, and we just put motion blur and sorry, motion, and those scenarios for different styles are making me think that both are kind of similar but are really different. And that's why I kind of love different types of photography. that makes me that allows me or permit me to work in different fields,
Mhm.
not only one specific photography, but all of
Yeah.
them.
Look at you, Nat, putting us through a school of difference between photography and video. No, that's incredible. I'm glad you spoke on it. Also, I want people to go practice something kind of you touched on there. Learn how to light different people with different skin tones, because even all white people don't come. It's not the same skin tone, right? There are different shades of lighter skin tones. There's different shades of darker skin tones, and as a DP, you have to be able to, or a cinematographer and gaffer, whatever, you got to be able to light up people of different skin tones and make them all look great, because people come in all sorts of shapes and
Oh
sizes and
yeah.
colors. And so I would highly recommend, if somebody's starting out, practice on different people and make sure you learn like how to light differently, because at the end of the day, our job is to make everyone look good. And if you don't know how to do that, then you're gonna not find too much success,
Hmm.
because like I said, everyone's different skin tone. But anyway,
And not
this,
only
yeah,
that, have their own personalities.
yeah,
And if you can't control stuff from your personality to work it out with someone that is really hard to work with
hmm,
in terms of photography wise and directing them, that's crazy
yeah,
because you never achieve what you need. And
hmm,
sometimes they're really shy and sometimes they're really
hmm,
like insecure when they're taking pictures. Because here's
hmm,
the thing, in my job, my actual job, I have media days that we work for the whole entire production and they are speaking and blah, blah, blah. They have their interviews and all of that. And we have a middle part before break that I have to take pictures of them for thumbnails and stuff like that, right?
hmm,
So I become a photographer in that moment. So they pay me different. Huh? So that's good. Whatever. And
yeah,
and I encountered that one of them, the last one, it was a bunch of women that they are really experienced in different fields. And one of them, it was a um, psychologist, and she worked with different people, and she have to like receive a bunch of information and feelings from others, and she have to handle that. And when I have to take her picture, she was feeling really sad, like, oh no, I need to change my hair, and she started
hmm,
feeling weird about herself, like, no, I can't do this. And I'm like, this was really interesting for me, looking at someone that is helping people to troubleshooting as well
hmm,
from different things that she have to work it out for herself. And me as a photographer, knowing that she don't want to show her hair because of whatever she's thinking,
hmm,
uh, it was really hard for me, and I have to be a little bit picky with her.
hmm,
And I realized that if you, in order to have a good like um, photo for you to have a good like reputation, you have to be a little bit picky with your client.
hmm,
And sometimes I been encountering some photographers with models that they treat them like shit,
hmm,
and that's something that is also ethical,
hmm,
that we have to involve in as photographers. I believe that I just try to be really respectful with her, and I permit her to take her hair in a
ponytail.
ponytail, yeah. And then I tell her, okay, I'm gonna take a picture of you like this,
Hmm,
but can you also take off your ponytail and show me your beautiful
hmm,
hair and be yourself because you're pretty.
hmm.
Don't forget that.
Look at that.
And
So
then,
you first complied, and I love the way you solved the problem. You let her feel comfortable first,
mm,
right? And you let her take a picture about making a ponytail, whatever, because that was, and then you knew obviously that was her own self, self that was causing that issue, and then you made her comfortable enough and trust you enough, and then you were able to let her get her hair down so you could take the picture that you really wanted to, or that would make her look
and the
best, right?
picture was really good after
Look at
that.
that. Look at that. Did she love it?
Yeah. And actually, I encountered that I hate to put the noise when I
Mhm.
click to catch the image because they don't notice that when I take the picture.
Oh,
So I love it.
oh.
I realize that I work it out better like this.
They don't even
So,
know you're doing. I've done that. Okay, I know we're approaching the end, but I do want to tell
oh,
this
yeah,
story.
yeah,
I've
go.
done that where some people are not confident. I'll turn off the tally lights on the camera for a video, and they're like, they're nervous, they're not used to being on camera. I'm like, oh, that's okay. We won't roll for a few minutes. Let's practice, and then I'll either myself or whoever's interviewing them. I'll let them go ask a few questions. We're just practicing, and they have no idea. And they'll go, okay, when are we starting this? We're like, we're already doing it. We're already rolling because we just turn off the tally lights. Anyway, but you have, and that's okay. It's people are not. I mean, I'm doing video all day. I'm not used to being in front of camera, but at the end of
Me
the day,
too.
you have to. That's
Mhm.
our job to make them comfortable.
Yeah, I
Um,
actually feel a little bit uncomfortable here because I'm on the side that I never
yeah,
think that I'm the.
same for me. Hey, it's the
Yeah.
same. But no, having done a few of these, I'm telling you, I'm loving it because I've learned so much already from you and other conversations. And these are incredible. And funny enough, like I said, I could tell a bunch of people we're already having these conversations anyway. Might as well record them because how many times have we stood and talked about business and strategy, or just cinematography in general, which is what we ended up talking about today.
We
So,
never talk about audio
oh yes, I know.
because filmmakers don't care about
Hey,
audio.
no, care about audio. I have talked about another with other people. The audio is extremely important. It's lighting and audio that makes the video. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm a camera guy, but that's just what the truth
Me
is.
too.
The truth is audio and cinematography, lighting is what's actually making good
Hmm.
video at the end of the day. But no, audio is more important. Let's not that's so
That's another
controversial. I don't want to
field.
start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But no,
I'm just
thanks,
saying.
thanks Nat for coming. I mean, taking us to school at one point. I think uh, you're an incredible person. First
Thank
of
you.
all, you're a great friend, and you're a great camera operator. And I love having you on set. And thank you for taking your time out. I know you were out actually visiting Colombia and came here. So I really appreciate you. And again, you're welcome back anytime. Before we go, is there anything else you wanna say or add? And tell people, or at least tell them your Instagram where they can go follow you or something.
Yeah, first of all, thank you to let me join you here and in your path as now that you have successfully achieved what you wanted. And I'm really proud of you. And actually, if you want to mentor me, that would be
Oh,
great.
anytime, anytime. My
Thank you.
phone's available any day.
Okay.
I mean, I already feel honored that you want me to be your mentor. I mean, come on. But yes, no, I'm available. Call me. And that, look, if we live 5 minutes away, you don't
I
even have to call
know.
me. You can just show up. As long as I'm home, now I can't
I
guarantee
know. But
because
I,
I'm traveling so
yeah.
much. But yes, as long as I'm home, now that we have this space, we can just come and chat. We don't have to even record it.
Yeah.
But
And and I
technically we can
also
even record it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
we can do that.
we can, right?
Yeah,
We can just
yeah. I
uh,
never know. I never know. I'm
yeah,
just
but
kidding.
uh,
But also to permit me to meet your family.
mhm.
I really feel really comfortable here, and I kind of have like a little family around
Mm.
that I can talk with and feel comfortable with. And thank you for that. Also, thank you for appreciate my talent and for being so humble with me. And sometimes it's good to have someone that respects your skills and respects your professionalism. And thank you for that. And just wanted to say thank you and be grateful
Oh my
because
goodness.
this is
You're
something
making
really
me
interesting.
so red. Anyway, but no, I really appreciate you. Like I said, I didn't do that. I don't do that with just anyone. I
Mm.
don't just invite everyone for in my home. For Thanksgiving and stuff like that. You guys really do mean everything. Because you guys are so great. Like I said, it's not like we've known each other for that long, but ever since we did, I knew you guys were honest
Hmm.
and humble and great people. You and both you and Mario, like I said,
Oh yeah. If
he's
Mario
up.
will hear,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
going to
Hopefully,
say the
yeah.
same thing I said.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to have him because he's visiting family too. Everyone's
I
not.
admire him a lot.
Yeah.
I That's why I kind of fall in love to on him
Hmm.
because he's really talented and he's a really um, solid person with his values,
Yeah.
and that's something that I really appreciate in someone.
No, and I found that very common between the three of us, which is why we connected and worked so much because you don't have to, when you're
Fake
talented,
it.
yeah, you don't have to fake it, and you don't have to, like, you don't need what do you call, somebody just compliment you all the time, right? You
uh,
just do it, and you're good at it, and you
mm,
guys are so humble about it, makes it easier to work with you,
thank
right?
you.
So anyway, like I said, thank you again, and Instagram, please.
Oh
Where
yeah,
can
yeah.
people follow you or
I
whatever
have
if
two
they want to?
Instagrams.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one is NG in static because I'm never stopping. That's why
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah. And the other that's the artistic one. I used to do body painting
Yeah.
in Colombia, so you can check it out. And the other one is Nat Gongard dot down. No, sorry. Oh my god, I totally forget that one.
Oh, that's okay. Just send it to me. I'll
Yeah,
put it
yeah, I'll
in
send
description or
it.
whatever,
Yeah,
guys.
because that one is the professional one. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, that's very unprofessional.
Yeah,
No, it's
no,
fine.
no,
Look,
sorry.
I don't even post on social media. No need to follow me because I'm so busy actually working. But
Um,
no, I'm gonna try and get better at it. But I really appreciate you, like I said, coming. You're welcome back anytime. Literally just to hang out too. And appreciate you and thank you again.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you
I
again.
know this is
Thank you.
weird. Anyway.
Yeah, no, yeah, we normally hug each
Yeah,
other,
exactly.
but
They're
it's
hard to
okay.
do in this
Yeah,
setup.
yeah, it's
Yes.
okay.
But thank you again, Nat.
Thank
See
you
you.
so much
Bye.
for everything.